3 coplanar points, and bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
We don't.
On the level.
The way I phrase it is a monument to the curvature of the Earth. It really is.
Level.
It really is.
Level.
And bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
He's a flat earther, isn't he? He's a flat earther here. Don't forget. He isn't a flat earther. This has nothing to do with flat Earth.
Yeah, but I was making a point about co-social means people
I'm
to
still
make his
talking.
status better. Yeah, I hear you.
I'm still talking.
I hear you.
Okay, well, you can fucking shut up.
Wow.
He isn't a flat earther. He doesn't. He thinks the term flat Earth means an Earth with no mountains and valleys. He used to have flat Earth stickers on his spirit level and on his whiteboard and
Trigger
stuff.
stickers, I call them.
But he had to take them all off so that he could keep playing this.
They're still on them, Jem. They're still there.
Because he has to disown the flat Earth lest he get asked to use
They're still there, Jem.
lest he has to support some bullshit idea. But no, all he wants to do is play a silly game.
Flat
where
is
he's
2D.
trying to upset people. And people who do this, Bev, do it for one reason.
A plane is 2D.
They're trying to make other people as unhappy as they are.
You think we're unhappy? I'm having a great time.
Speaking about you specifically, man.
Oh, you think I'm unhappy, do you?
I think
If your goal is to make other people unhappy, yes, you are unhappy.
Oh, you think I'm making... Oh, am I making you unhappy?
Your hobby is making other people unhappy.
No,
Yeah.
that's not my intention, Jem.
I can have 2 lines that are level that are perpendicular to a plane. They're still level and they're rising vertically. So again,
What?
that shows that your
No, you
description is
can't
not
have a
correct.
vertical level. You can't. You just simply can't. Stop saying
Yes,
it.
because I can have 2 lines that are equidistant from a common reference point. They would be level. Doesn't matter what direction they're going in.
Yes,
They should be
it
level
would.
Because it's a relationship
No.
between
Foolish.
2 objects,
Foolish.
not one.
Foolish. Stop it.
I like what Curve said back in the day. They said the name of your channel, Try Thinking, so that's on your to-do list.
Yeah, always. Always. Thinking of new ways to think about things. Yeah, yeah.
You'll get
This
to it
can
one
bring
day.
you no joy. It really can't bring you joy.
That little point
You'll pay for this, ultimately.
Can I be heard now?
I'll pay for
Bring me
this.
a lot of joy,
Really? Did you
Dev.
just say that then, Jem?
Yeah, I
he
did.
Wow.
The
Bring me a
universe,
lot of joy.
the universe will settle up with you eventually, Bev.
Can you guys
For...
hear me?
Wow. This is definitely the more bit, right?
I want to make this point. I think it's true that we are, of course, responsible for our own actions. And what Paige said is generally true in normal life. When we should control ourselves and not just lose it. But this isn't normal life, is it?
So only if you can imagine, only if you allow for drawing a line in more than one dimension. So if we're in a world that's, okay, we're in a 3-dimensional world, and we want to draw the shortest line between 2 points, and the 2 points happen to be on a sphere inside this 3-dimensional world, then the shortest line would go in through the center of the sphere. We go into the interior of the sphere. That's not spherical geometry, though. In spherical geometry, that's a 2-dimensional world on which the surface of which you're on is going to be curved, okay?
I'm thinking in a similar way, the playlist on your channel called Flat Earth Proofs will feature videos claiming to be flat Earth proofs. And I will make a further claim that not a single one of those flat Earth proof videos will offer proof that the Earth has no mountains or valleys.
Have you seen my proof that level is horizontal?
Good. Yeah, let's talk about that again, Bev, because that isn't totally.
It is a video. It's on my channel, isn't it? And it is actually one of my proofs.
I just said. And I'm obviously the type of guy who's definitely going to drop straight back into arguing about whether level is horizontal.
You asked whether there were any proofs, and I said, have you seen my proof?
Hang in there. Any minute now, I'm going to break into arguing about geometry.
Any minute now. I will give it to you. A two-dimensional surface is a flat. But I mean, I'm okay with you thinking you live on a two-dimensional surface. I mean, that sounds brilliant to me.
What do you mean by? Why do you think we live on a two-dimensional surface, Bev? It's three-dimensional.
You've just argued for your two-dimensional surface.
No, we're talking about spherical geometry before. That's abstract. We're talking about the real. We're talking about where we live.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So it's not reality then. Brilliant. Fantastic.
When you ask this question, can a straight line exist on a sphere? The answer to that question is going to be yes.
No, the answer
that's a question about geometry. That's not a question about the Earth. That's not a question about where we live. That's a question about geometry.
Right, you can't have a straight line on the surface of a sphere.
I disagree. As all the
what's a tangent then?
Tangent to the sphere.
What is a tangent?
Tangent to the line.
Is it a straight line? Is it a straight line?
Can I answer your question without you interrupting? A tangent is going to be a line that touches the sphere at one point only.
A straight line, is it?
It could be straight, sure.
But you can also have a straight line that is the circumference of a circle.
Yes.
So how do you differentiate between a tangent and a straight line?
Can I finish what I'm saying? If you can also have something that tangents that's curved, a curve can tangent at one point.
A what? A turf? Did you just?
A curve can tangent at one point only.
A horizontal is established as a plane, right? That's a two-dimensional surface, length times breadth. There's no curvature. But your man earlier had that wrapping round a circle. So he's got implied thingy. Now, if he thinks that is two-dimensional, then we do have a problem. Because I think horizontals are straight lines, and your man, like earlier, thinks that a two-dimensional surface is actually a curve.
You see, the world doesn't care what you think, Bev. We care about laughing at you for being dumb.
But I'm just going off the mathematical terms of a two-dimensional surface, right?
Clearly, you're not understanding what you literally schooled me on.
Somebody's done a drawing.
Done a 17-point
Don't
water
worry
level test,
about it.
and it showed the bend of the Earth.
Who did?
Splice Barcade.
He did a what?
He did a 17-point.
He's done a drawing of it, has he?
I know that you know this, Bev.
He's done a drawing of it.
Between you and him on.
He's not actually done it, has he?
I don't know why you're pretending to be ignorant.
He's not done it, has he? No, he's not. He's not done it at all. He did. He tried to do it first. He took everybody's money, got all the equipment, and then couldn't find all the leaks. The water was pissing out everywhere. He didn't have a clue what he was doing. I've asked him since then to have a word with us because we've got a very similar test, right? Very similar, and he won't come and talk to us. It's like a butthurt little bitch.
Is the canal leaking, Ted?
You're making the observation from the center, though.
Who is? Who is?
You are. Aren't you making your
who's just told me that I've done something from the centre? Have you done that? Have you been listening to Slice Barcane? Sounds like it.
I always thought you had said it. Video.
Pardon?
He got it from your video.
Which one? The one where I was explaining how people use auto levels before I was going over how the hump of the Rakier's Bridge.
Can you tell me where, Bev, can you tell me in Euclid's,
Oh, God, here we go again. We're all over the place.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I've got some on the level stickers on that. Does that mean I'm on the level as well now?
Put some stickers on there that say, I'm a fucking liar.
Jem?
That would be the most honest thing you could do.
I can definitely get DP to do you a meme. Jem Panda is a liar. We can do that for you. Wow. You've done what? What was that you did on the top of a mountain?
I've measured the horizon drop with elevation.
Okay, so you've gone up. You've gone up to the top of a mountain, and you've measured an angle.
Right.
Okay. Brilliant. We had this the other day. I did just say, just a minute. I did just say earlier, we had Ruhif do this and Kosho, right? So please, you've gone up a height and you've measured an angle. Please continue.
Yeah, and that angle,
flat Earth and horizon always rise to the eye level.
Which is accurate, which it would. If
Come on,
it was a flat
explain what you're doing with an angle. The level you use in surveying, does that establish a horizontal plane of reference? From which you can measure a vertical distance from?
Colloquially,
No, it
yes.
wouldn't.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Listen.
Colloquially.
Who said it wouldn't? Who's that?
I said that.
Who's that?
Me, percent. So
Percent. All right. So you think an auto level doesn't do what it does?
If it gives you level, it's not going to give you, in terms of the actual argument here, horizontal. What would give you horizontal is if you have the vertical, the plumb, right? That gives you vertical. Perpendicular to that would give you horizontal. Now, globe earthers would say that horizontal is a tangent line to the globe, to the curve, which is the horizon. You understand? They hold them in different levels. They say the horizon is different from the horizontal, whereas what I believe it is, and what my experience is, and everything show me, is that the horizontal is the horizon. They came up with the word horizontal because it means, like the suffix horizontal, octagonal, pentagonal, all of those means pertaining to. So horizontal means pertaining to the horizon. It's Occam's razor that they thought that the horizon was flat, and because it presents itself to be flat.
Horizontal's definitely a straight line, though, right?
No. Horizontal is definitely a straight line, but they don't believe that level is horizontal. They believe the level is the horizon, but the horizon is not horizontal.
I know.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, and Jesse Kozlowski said it's a measurable drop. The water level drops away from horizontal.
Technically, it's funny because they also said the military men walking around in high heels, and they were doing something. I was like, what? There ain't no. And then they looked it up, and sure enough, there was some type of shit where they wanted men to walk in women's shoes, walk a mile in women's shoes. So they were doing some, making them walk in high heels. So he wasn't that crazy. But
yeah, that's kind of weird. Shoot a link to it. Can't put together what you're saying with it because it's so weird. Because it's probably not your fault.
No, Grim. I know that we discuss sometimes the satellites and shit, but that is hardly relevant to the Cavendish experiment done on Earth. It's not like we can't take a magnetometer to that, now is it? It's a little late.
It's not like that at all. Yeah. No, I was only talking about the cosmological stuff, but.
It may be late.
So here's the interview. Here's the interview. You might want to grab it real quick. It's about to go up.
Yeah.
All right.
Now I'm gonna try to fast forward to the part. Sorry, hang on. I'm gonna fast forward to the part and tell you the timestamp. So, because it was just fresh in my head from like 4, 5, 6 hours ago. So the time stamping for me, I can figure it out. So just give me a minute. But go ahead. Talk among yourself. Right.
Well, we've got Bev here. Bev, are you here?
Yeah.
Excellent. Because you guys seem to be kind of derailing, and obviously you guys want to know if the Earth is flat, and one way, obviously, we should look at the water, find out if it's level. So obviously, Bev, you've been doing the research on that question.
Yeah, they don't do geometry, though, do they?
Well, that's what we're going to find out. They say they have a version of geometry of some kind. So what did you do your test? You've done your test. You've done your what, or are you still thinking of doing it?
Yeah, what is it?
Of course he's not done it.
What is it?
Your Bedford level test that you plan.
Does anybody know what it is? See, because people just keep saying shit, and nobody seems to know what it is.
I know what it is.
You're on your whiteboard and not proving anything. So
I know what it is, Bev. It's excellent, I think.
Does anyone disagree with Bev's idea of showing if the Earth is flat or not?
Do you want to explain it then, Jeremy?
I disagree with
Do you want to explain to the room the test, Jeremy, please?
Sure, Bev's going to get a water level and see if the water's...
Why are you explaining it to him, Jeremy?
Well, he just said he's brilliant. I'd like him to explain it, because if he thinks he's brilliant, then it'd be nice to get someone else.
I mean, you could do it. Go ahead, Bev.
Okay, do you want me to explain it, Mark?
Well, it's the copy of slice test, isn't it, Bev? You just stole slice test. Everyone knows that.
It's a slice test, is it?
Well, yeah, you stole off the
slice. We don't want any leaks.
Yo, real quick, does anyone know if
the paper about
fight,
the ion trapping
Ferguson and versus whatever's tonight, or is it another night?
Not sure.
What the fuck are you talking about?
MMA, Ferguson versus the Brazilian dude. Is that tonight or?
I'm not sure.
I'll just search it.
Oh, you're on the internet right now. Why don't you find?
Well, I know that the water level doesn't drop away from horizontal. I know that for a fact.
How do you know, Biff?
Because
How do you know?
because it a water level is a tool to that establishes a horizontal, so it can't drop away from itself.
He doesn't know. He's now trying to fill in.
How do you know, Bev? Have
He
you
hasn't done the
tested?
test.
But Bev, you just explain the idea, and then we can see where, or they can try and find out if they disagree anyway.
Still funny that you expected to have done it already, Kimo. And
The basic principle of a water level, like Ruhif doesn't seem to understand it. Rumpus the other day said that horizontals are parallel, which is how surveying works, right? But that Ruhif doesn't agree with that. But Ruhif does agree that level is horizontal. So there is like a disconnect, cognitive dissonance, call it, between the model believers and the people that live in reality. I mean, that's basically what it is at the heart of all of this. It's
so why haven't you done it yet?
Can you have 2 points and then draw a straight line between the 2 points? I mean, is that what happens?
I mean, you've said it for over a year now.
Yeah, because that's what you do. And like in geometry, if you are drawing a line between 2 points, it's a straight line.
What are you doing to get this £300 you need?
Sorry, who am I talking to?
It doesn't matter who you're talking to.
It does matter. Of course it matters who I'm talking to.
Of course it does.
Who is it I'm talking to,
The
please?
question is perfectly valid.
Sorry, excuse me. Who is this I'm talking to? Who is this I'm talking to?
Autismo is just above you.
Oh, all right. Is that Gary? Hey, Gary.
Oh my God, is it?
Oh, hey. What do you think the name works for? Right?
I'm not sure. I mean, you're quite happy to call me Gary, which I've gone by for a long time here. So.
Yeah. So that is your name then, right?
Oh, it's the name I go by for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
Thank you, Paul. So why haven't you done this test? Kimo thought
Why
you
have you done it?
I wouldn't do your test. Would I?
Why have you not done it?
Because it's not my test. It's
Oh.
yours. So why haven't you done it?
Why haven't you done it?
Because it's not my test.
Right. Well, it's my test then.
Yeah. So why haven't you done it?
Well, why haven't you done it?
I think you may have something broken in your side.
Yeah.
Your mind, Bev.
Right.
It's your test.
Would you like me to explain,
I'd like you to explain to me why you
the
haven't done it yet.
test?
No, I'd like you to explain why you haven't done it yet.
No, explain the test to it.
No, why
Yes,
haven't you
please.
done it yet? We've heard it for over a year now.
Please
Just
explain
explain the test.
What is the test, Autismo?
From what I understand, they're waiting for Rakia to pay for it.
I heard they were after £300 as well.
Yeah, Rakia said he was going to send them
£300? Didn't McToons? Didn't McToons say it was £3,000? 3,000 McToons said.
£300.
3,000 McToons said. 3,000 McToons said. 3,000 McToons said. That was when he was there with a surveyor. They didn't know how much it had cost to mark three lines on posts.
So what are you doing to get your £300?
Disgusting, isn't it?
So what are you doing to get your £300?
Bev, let's explain the test to him.
Gary, I'm a carer.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to get the £300?
What am I doing to get £300 for what?
For your test.
For my test, which is what's my
Yeah,
test?
for your test.
What's the test?
The test you've been going on about for a
And
year.
what is that, Gary?
Oh, you don't know either?
Do you not know?
Oh, I know it.
Oh, okay.
I've heard it many
Oh,
times.
right. Did Slice Barcane tell you? Or did Rumpus tell you? Or did
You
perhaps
told
Mark
me.
Taylor told you?
About once a month you've
Perhaps
told
somebody
us
else
so, yeah.
told you. Has anybody ever asked us what the test is?
Loads of people have asked you what the test is.
You haven't.
You've been asked
Oh,
at
yes, they
least
have.
4 times since you got in here, Bev. So
Just tell Gary, tell him what it is.
No, I don't
Gary.
need to tell him his test.
I don't think you know it, so.
Oh, I do know it. I've heard
Then
it.
let's
many
hear
times.
Well, Jeremy, you tell us. You tell
Yeah,
us.
Jeremy,
You
you were very keen. You said it was brilliant.
So you tell us, Jeremy.
Do you want to explain Slice Barcane's
Your
new
name
test? Do you want me to do that for you?
I just got here. Could someone explain it?
Actually, my name is
Slice
Jeremy.
Yeah, you
Barcane.
wonder if Bev can do it in less than 5 minutes.
Slice Barcane
That's a
has
common name.
16 100-meter water levels, right?
So the ion trapping with the dust particle there.
Who's that?
Graham, let him talk.
I have
Right,
a
yeah.
question, Biff.
Right, thank you. Yeah. All right, so do you want me to talk about the test, or do you want to just sort of rumpus whenever you want me to talk about the test?
Water level.
Do you want me to talk about the test?
Yes,
Yeah,
I would
want
love
to ask you a
that.
question,
Can we go to
please.
that first?
Can I ask him a question? I know his test. He repeated it like 1,000
We
times.
don't know it, so
He hasn't repeated it. I don't know
want
it.
to ask him a question.
No, people
Bev,
don't know the
water-
test. What are you talking about?
Bev,
Bro, you're jumping the
come
gun.
on.
Yeah.
Let him explain it.
I
So we're
talked
all on
to
the
you
same
like
page,
1,000
and then ask
times.
your question.
You're
bro.
jumping the gun, bro. Let him.
They
explain
don't
it.
want anyone to
want
hear this.
ask
I'm
him a
telling you.
question Before he explains.
That's
But
why
you can
nobody
ask
knows
a
it.
different question after
Yeah,
because
sure.
I don't know Bev, and I'd like to hear what Bev is
because
doing.
it's very relevant.
Yeah,
Oh
try.
my
But it
God.
will be relevant afterwards as well.
Like
Thank
Kumo
you.
over
Right, Bev.
modding again, eh?
Yeah,
Timo,
try.
mute
It's
this-
been
mute this
muted.
guy,
Anyway,
Timo.
listen, right. Bev's going to explain the test. He's not going to talk about Sly's test. We're going to talk about your test, Bev. If you start going on about Sly's test, I'm going to mute you. So get on with explaining your test to
I'd like
everyone
to
in
hear
the
about
room,
both.
so everyone can hear what they say. Yeah, well, we'll hear about Sly's later. At the moment, we want to hear about Bev's test.
Well, I
So
can't
Bev,
put the
carry
video on, so I can't show you my screen. So everyone will just have to, like, imagine what a water level looks like, because I know a lot of people don't actually know what a water level looks like. It's just a tube that you fill with water. Now, this level, the water, the tube, when it fills out, it equalizes to make an even altitude from one end to the other. Both of ends are called equal. And that's what's known as a level. When that water equals out, then that's the old school method. It's called a water level. It establishes a horizontal plane of equal altitude when the water levels out.
Even altitude to the ground table, the water ground table?
What's that? What's altitude?
Even altitude to sea level, you mean? Not...
No, that's elevation, dude. Altitude is above.
Yeah, so it's,
yeah. So even altitude, like even. Yeah, even. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Yep. So they're equal. They're the same even elevation, right? Now, if you put a
Not elevation.
what?
What are 3/8?
You said elevation this time, so it's altitude, not elevation.
What do you want? Do you want elevation? Altitude. What do you
I
want?
want to know what.
Point is, it's based off of sea level, not based off of the ground.
What the no. The water level doesn't care what's underneath it at all. It just establishes an even altitude, right? I can put a big ball underneath the water level. It won't. Either end will still equal out to be an even altitude, won't it?
What do 3/8 equal?
It's going to be an even elevation, not an altitude.
It'd be even altitude, right? Because I can hold it up in the air. That's not elevation, is it?
It is elevation.
No. Elevation is on the ground, right?
Beb, the point
Altitude is above it. I know everybody, like, we have to get the words all sorted so we all understand what we mean when we're using the words.
Can we get the numbers sorted as well so we all understand that 3/8 isn't 28?
Pardon?
No, I'm just making a quick like distinction that when you say even altitude, it means based off like above sea level, not above.
Yeah, just altitude, right? Above the ground, right? Not on the ground. The ground is elevation. That elevation is above the sea level, right? Anything above the ground is classed as altitude.
Well, that's not true.
What?
Not
Are we,
all
like
land
it-
is above sea level.
What?
See,
It won't be
if
even
you
above
go
altitude.
tower, that's called an elevated position. So clearly that is elevation.
Yeah, like a mountain would be elevation, right? Because that's still the land. Anything above that land is called altitude, like planes.
tower would be elevated.
Can you please
Holy
agree to his
shit.
altitude?
Yeah, continue.
Okay, so that water level establishes an even. Now, if you put another one next to it, then that would also do exactly the same, establish an even altitude. Now, if you were to draw the two lines from each end of those water levels, then they would be of an even altitude. Those two lines would be classed as being parallel, because all horizontals are parallel to the horizon.
No, you're making a assertion now.
Pardon?
Drink.
Just explain the experiment.
Just
That's a drink.
experiment? People
Yes,
keep saying that,
going to do.
experiment. How? Yeah. Okay, so
Go ahead with it.
literally this is geometry, isn't
So
it?
doesn't an elevator take you off of the ground level?
Lines, where flat earthers would say they're parallel flat lines.
Okay, like there are too many people talking then. I don't know. I think there was at least 3 people, right?
Yeah, you're beating
somebody
about
say?
it around the bush, Bev. Go ahead with your experiment.
Well, I'm just trying to get everybody to understand that exactly how a water level works. Right?
Well,
Can you get us to understand what 3 times 8 is?
Can you? Go on then.
No, I'm asking you to help
Go
us
on.
understand what 3 times 8 is.
Right, well that sounds like a really brilliant question, doesn't it? I mean, I know
It is.
we're over here at what is it?
Can you answer
Is
it, please,
debate
Paul?
flat Earth and
Paul,
more?
can you
Is this
answer
the
what 3
more?
times 8 is?
Is this the more? Do you always do this?
Paul, can you tell me what 3 times 8 is?
My name's Bev. Yeah, you know, I put a thing on when I was showing you guys the certificate of calibration, and I put that in there mistakenly. Didn't even realise my name would be on it. So we got took down, right? So now all of you guys
Calm down, Paul.
are using my name all the time, right? I mean, it's just a name. It's just a name, right?
What's 3 times 8, Paul?
But you know, everybody else says I'm a doxer. Right, when you guys are all using my name.
Yeah, you're a doxer.
Well, how am I a doxer, please?
You doxed yourself.
Oh, right, brilliant. Yeah, that's fantastic. So,
why
because
was
that, we need
Hold
to
on,
go,
hold on,
everybody
hold on.
needs to go around calling me a doxer, don't they? Publicly.
What's 3 times 8?
Publicly.
What's 3 times 8,
Doxer,
Look, I
fraud,
want to ask
and
Dave.
child abuser is what I've been called so far. What about you guys?
Hold on. I was going to ask Bev something about this experiment. You muted me.
The experiment?
Now you're derailing from the conversation totally.
What's the
And nobody's
experiment?
muted. What's the experiment? You're going to.
What is the experiment? Please tell us.
You're going to have. You're going. I'll tell you. I'll summarize it quick. I'll summarize it.
I'll be even quicker.
You're going to have.
Go ahead.
A 3-point of level water. Okay. Is that good for you? And you will draw a line and you will see if it intersects all 3 points. Is that good, Bev?
No, wrong.
Show us your picture. Show your picture. Post your picture, please.
Post what picture?
Your scaled down experiment, how it looks like.
You mean that model I made?
Yes.
Well, Slice Barcane took one up a mountain, and whatever's done one. Loads of people have done that. That was for me to use to explain to you guys exactly how it works, right? But it's changed since then. I mean, everything moves on. We've added the pressure test in now, haven't we?
So explain it.
Explain. Are you ready?
I don't think
15 minutes ago.
I don't think they're ready, Bev.
No. Right, 100 meter water level. Now, we just established that it has an even elevation, but as who is it? What's his name? Ruhif said the other day it would drop 1 millimeter from the end. From the end you're at, right, and then the second 100 meters would drop another 2.1, totaling 3.1 millimeters, right? And it carries on like that, right? So that is what happens on your model. Now I say, the water level establishes a horizontal.
On your model, though, does 3 times 8 equal 24 or 28?
Yo, someone mute this bag.
Don't eat on mic, please.
Yeah. Okay. So the water
So
levels.
28 or 24?
The water levels over the distance keep
Hang on.
dropping
How long are these water levels?
the ball model, right? On your model, not my model. My model's horizontal water level, right? Practically, I've used it practically.
Wait a second, Bev.
Yep.
I need to check. Is this water level 100 meters long?
Which one?
The one you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's how tube comes in,
Okay,
about
I
100
just-
metres. Ask Slice Barcane. He bought all of his tubes in 100 metre lengths as well.
It's okay. I just
He's
wanted
got
to
them.
make sure that I had that part right.
Yeah, or 100 metres. Just like Slice Barcane. So when you join them up, right, you would have... How many joins, do you reckon? 16 tubes. 15 joins? Slice Barcane had more leaks than he could find. It's only 15 things.
This is on the 100 meter length water level.
Okay, so
where they join, each of them join each other, right? At that joining bit, that's why we call him the leaky plumber. He couldn't stop the leaks.
Point here is hardly who's the better plumber.
Okay, so
I'm very sure, seeing as I
100 meter water levels, right? So individually they drop. Ruhif started giving us the numbers the other day.
100 meters as well.
Pardon?
Okay, can I ask my question now?
Well, I don't know. Somebody else was asking a question. I mean, like, are you
I know,
are you
I
interrupting the other guy, or are you
remember
asking
10
him?
minutes ago. 10 minutes ago.
Okay, have we sorted what the test is yet then, or are we just obfuscating before we manage to work out what the test is? Yeah.
Yes,
I think
got
yes. You are. Okay.
Still not clear to me.
No,
Those
I know.
100 meter water levels.
No, it's hard for you guys to understand it, but I mean, eventually
I think
people
you
will
should take it from
understand
the top
what the
again.
water level is. They will.
I think you should take it from the top again.
What's your model?
I will do a proper demonstration of exactly what's going to happen over at MEUK for anybody that really wants to know, because obviously you guys won't.
It took me a minute, but I found it. So anybody who's interested in this theory real quick about the plasmoids and some other stuff, they only brief mention it, but I just thought it was kind of funny. So at 2 hours and 39 minutes and 21 seconds, Tim Pool's talking about how he's going to get whatever. I'm almost done. Like 2 fucking seconds.
Let the man fucking talk.
It's like 2 fucking seconds and I'm done. Fuck you.
Well,
Basically,
you're done now,
he's just
dude.
talking about plasmoids and there's some...
So you
All right, Bev, I got a quick question for you, Bev. So, how do you draw the line
fucked up.
at the even altitudes? How do you draw the line between the two things, water levels, that between the ends?
The water level establishes a horizontal plane of reference, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the globe earthers will say that the horizontal is curved. So we have to see whether that line, like, how do you draw that line to know if it's tangential or curved.
Who said what?
Globe earthers say that the horizontal is curved.
Who's saying
Its
that?
level is curved.
Is that percentage? Did the percentage just say? Did you just say that the globe earthers say that horizontal? Did you? Because I mean, I would just have to laugh at that, wouldn't you?
No, we say that.
I mean, like, come on, horizontal.
Yeah, but the globe earthers will say that the horizontal is curved.
We say Earth deviates from horizontal.
Ah, so the globers don't say horizontal, do they? Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, but the globe earthers will say that the horizontal is curved.
Not yet.
You have to disprove our assertion.
Whose assertion?
Your test.
The assertion of horizontal.
Yeah, but the globe earthers will say that the horizontal is curved.
No,
I think.
Are you? I just need to know. I need to know a clarification of what percentage just said, just to make sure that the globers do think that horizontal is bending.
Playing a word game with him.
Let me clarify it for you real quick. Percentage wants to know how you're going to make the straight line between the two ends of the water level.
Exactly.
Right. Why does percentage want to think there needs to be a straight line between the two ends of the water level? The water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
Yeah, but the globe earthers will say that the horizontal is curved. You have to gauge if they're parallel or not, right?
Gauge if what's parallel.
Line between
We all
the
agree
first
that
and second and the first and
we
third.
all agree
Yeah.
that two points will be connected by a straight line. That is obvious.
Mhm.
There is a discussion if that is a horizontal line or if that is only a horizontal line right in between them.
Yeah, but the globe earthers will say that the horizontal is curved.
Yeah, well, you know, the biggest problem you have is that the water level drops away from the position you are at. Right, in the fundamental understanding of what a water level is.
The level drops from the position you're at. It's as if it sort of curves down, isn't it? That's interesting.
It doesn't, though, does it? Water finds its level on a horizontal plane. So how can it drop?
Clearly, there is no horizontal plane.
Try it, Biv. Try it.
Try what?
Plane is a local.
Do your experiment. See how it drops.
Do what experiment?
The one you just spoke
This is
about.
a water level. It is geometry. You don't science geometry.
But I fail to see how this will attack the root issue, which is whether or not the level is curved.
Shape,
or
you mean?
flat.
I think geometry is definitely the best place to go looking for the shape of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, because global earthers will just say it's at an even altitude.
Globe
the
earthers.
level
Who are you speaking for now?
I'm trying to make sure
are you a flat earther? Are you a flat earther?
I am, yes.
I'm gonna say
Okay.
it's curved.
I don't like people speaking for other people. I think it's a bad idea.
Well, I'm trying to be
Hey,
like
he can speak
objective
for me in
and
this
measured
case.
accordingly.
Sometimes you need to speak for other people if you don't articulate your idea well or accurately.
Yeah, but the globe earthers will say that the horizontal is curved.
The perfect interface between two things is a flat plane, not a curved surface. So if you have, say, a continuum of reality interfacing with another part of reality, say, the air with the earth, the flat surface would be the perfect interface between them where they can press against each other and have a flat line, quote unquote, between them.
The fuck?
Not a curve.
Could be a sphere like a planet.
See, what we say, Mr. Beverly, is
but the globe earthers will say that the horizontal is curved.
that when you establish a horizontal, water deviates from that horizontal.
Yeah, but the globe earthers will say that the horizontal is curved.
Did I say that? No, I think that's what you said, wasn't it?
I said that. I said what we say. Do you have a little problem with your hearing, sir?
Yeah, but Ruhif said that level is horizontal.
I agree, level's horizontal.
Right.
Let's
So,
slow this down.
are you-
because I'm-
Right, so Ruhif, when Ruhif said level is horizontal, is he not speaking for you?
I agree, level's horizontal.
No, he's speaking for himself.
Okay, right, okay, so...
Yeah, because we're not all in a cult like you, Bev.
Like me?
That's against group
Yeah,
representation.
like you!
Ad hom, bro. Listen,
Yeah.
Bev, I'm just gonna hold your feet to the fire a bit because I want to understand your test and like the usability of it. So, when you're saying like you're gonna make a horizontal line between the ends of the two.
No, who said that? A water level establishes a horizontal plane of reference.
Answer his question,
Yeah.
Bev. Answer his
Yeah,
question.
you're saying that, but I don't know if everyone agrees with that.
You don't know if everybody agrees with that. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people do and some people don't. That's what we're doing here, right? We're having a discussion about it.
Yeah, but when you make that like an assumptive, like when you presuppose that, then they'll just.
What are you presupposing anything? Have you got any? Or are you just saying we don't know until we do the test? Let's everybody do this test, right? Then we'll all know for ourselves.
I know, but I know it's flat. But
You don't know what the test is yet.
Oh, come on, man.
I agree, level's horizontal.
It's hard to have a conversation when everyone's jumping in. But the point is, like, you need to be able to distinguish between a curved level or a flat level. That's the whole point. That's the whole disagreement here, right?
There is only a horizontal level.
I agree, level's horizontal.
Can you? At what distance? Right? At what distance can you falsify a level not being horizontal or being horizontal? At what distance, right, can you falsify a water being able to hump in the middle.
How are you?
What distance can you do that?
It's straight.
What distance can you do it?
Well, we verified
If there was a hump in water, where would it be? At the midpoint. Now, do you think you can measure a hump of water in reality?
Absolutely.
Okay, well then we can measure it.
Bev, hold on.
How much have you measured? What's the biggest hump of water you've measured?
I haven't.
Maybe I just didn't understand the test. Maybe you need to say the test again because I
he failed. He failed.
The level.
Listen, he failed to explain his experiment. I'll explain it. If you have any objection,
you want to explain my experiment?
I'll explain.
Observed phenomena. Start off with the observed phenomena, please, if you're going to explain something that doesn't exist. Yeah, okay. Well, you explain. Start off with the observed phenomena, please, as it's an experiment. Off you go.
How can we start? We didn't start the experiment. What is
Stop
the
saying
observed
experiment.
phenomena?
He's saying it's not an actual experiment. So just
Okay, observation.
Observation, whatever.
About...
Go ahead, explain it, and then he'll correct you if you get it wrong.
Okay, Bev is going to have a tube running 1 mile. Every 100 meters, he will have a tube coming vertical from it connected in a T section. Yes? All this is running for 1 mile. He will put his auto level on one side and fill the tube until it levels with his auto level. And then he needs to see if all other level water intersecting this line. Am I wrong, Bev?
Yes.
Then please explain what you're going to do.
A water level, right, establishes a horizontal plane of reference. Now,
no, that's what we're going to test.
Okay, right.
No.
No.
There's disagreement about that from the get-go, so this...
No. Yes? No. Are we just going to keep talking? Yeah?
No, go ahead, Bev.
All right.
The floor's yours.
Okay. So, let's go with this water level, right? Let's go with the mile water level. Now, the water would equalize out and become equal over the mile. Now, is that a straight line? Or is it a curve? Well, I say straight line because there's 2 points.
Yeah.
Now, if there is a curve in between point A and point C, let's call it, we'll call point B in the middle, where would that be? Would it be higher than the other two? Or would it be at the same level as the other two?
Higher.
It would be higher. Okay. Now,
it would be at the same level, as I understand it.
Obviously we've got a bit of a problem here, haven't we? Already.
Yeah,
we're at odds already.
Yeah, that just means
reality
they curve at equal altitude all the way around the globe. That's
okay.
their model.
So it's curved, but straight.
No,
level. It's level.
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
Okay, so, all right. So let's say what we do is then, let's get rid of that middle one again, and just have the established level that goes all the way from one end to the other, and then let's make another one. Let's have another water level, right, that goes to the middle, just from one end to the middle, and then another one from the other end, from that end to the middle. Right, now, can you see in your mind map of this thing you've just drawn, if it depends what sort of a model you've got in your head, right? Because if you've got a reality model, you draw a straight line, and if you've got a globe model in your head, you've just drawn a triangle. Now, with this being geometry, do you think we can tell whether a shape's a straight line or a triangle?
Okay, I think you're assuming the globe model works in a way that they claim it works differently. Like it wouldn't be a triangle. It would be like if anything, it would be.
You would have a chord. If you have a chord, have you never seen Walter Bislin's model that he made for Jesse Kozlowski of Lake Pontchartrain Bridge? He draws a chord and then has a Sagittar. Wow. Who's that?
You're not my type, Paul.
You're not my type, Paul.
Alright, we're feeding through, right? Who's listening?
They got it.
Okay. So, yeah, I understand that it's a straight line. You all have different concepts of what that straight line is. But, I mean, that's at the heart of it, is the horizontal being a straight line.
Yeah, sure. So what's the problem with the doing the experiment there?
The experiment.
Well, how do you, Bev, look, you're beating around the bush. You were asked about what
this is just pure geometry, and actually, at the minute, it's pure logic, right? We're not actually doing geometry even.
Logic and hit you in the ass.
Look,
I still fail to see the point of the test. No offense, Bev.
Straight line or triangle. That's going to be the new one, right? Straight line or triangle. And also, here's another one, right? If horizontals are all parallel to the horizon, then how do you get a horizontal to intersect with another horizontal? I mean, how does that happen? How does that possibly occur?
Bev, I already showed you last time we talked.
Who's this? Who are we talking to now? There's so many people and so many voices. You're all talking. Who was that? Sorry, that said they showed you something.
Bev. For a year, you're talking.
You're babbling.
Yeah, everybody talks. This is Discord. Hello. That's what we do.
So, are you going to do it or not?
We're going to do what?
What is this picture, Bev?
Your observation.
I've done observations. Yes. I've got an auto level, right? And you know how far you can see with an auto level, right? To actually look at these water levels. You can
see billions of years.
I can see 50 meters. Right, and that's enough. That's as much as I need to do, right? And that's as much as anybody with an auto level needs to do in order to establish equal elevation.
You're not going to do the mile now, are you?
Pardon?
At least half a mile.
I'm not going to do what? What are you saying I'm not doing? You're not doing it either. You're not going to do it. Why are you not doing it? Who's that talking now then? Are you going to do it?
I put the picture in the chat. Maybe we can talk about it.
I can't hear what you're saying. Sorry.
I put the globe, and it's a force down, like on the Earth, and I put a flat line on it, like a flat plane, and put water on it.
Who's that?
And what you can see on this picture, you see there's in the middle more water than on the sides. And
I can't understand what you're saying.
Flat plane on the globe, one square kilometer maybe, and you put water in it. It will not rinse up from the plane. It will stay on the plane.
It'll stay horizontal. The water over how far?
Horizontal.
Yeah, there will be a paddle in the middle of the plane.
Yeah,
and the sides will be dry.
That wouldn't happen anyways on a globe.
Where would that happen? Over what distance? Sorry, over what distance?
Not level.
Over what distance?
About 1 square kilometer, maybe.
A kilometer, right? So over 1,000 meters, you can tell that the water level isn't level. What's happening? What's going on?
About a flat plane.
Okay. So what do you think level means then? What do you think?
In the middle, it's a level.
What does level mean, please?
In the middle is a level.
What does level mean, please? What does level mean? Is it a straight line, horizontal?
The gravitational field of the Earth.
Level is perpendicular to vertical, which is horizontal. Yes.
Yeah, but it's flat.
Level is a line or a surface equally distant from a common reference point. And when we're talking about the surface of the Earth...
vertical datum, like we have in the UK. We have a vertical datum. Yes?
Is that not right? Bev.
Elevation.
A
elevation
level
is
a line of
measured
surface
as
equally
a
distant
vertical.
from a common reference point.
Yeah, a datum. Yeah, and then any vertical change is classed as a change in elevation, right?
Yeah, from a common reference point.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that would be the sea level,
curving,
right? Yeah, the sea level.
If the common reference point is
It means
curving,
flat.
Yeah.
if my common reference point is curving, then my level line will be curving to
But
maintain.
we use an auto level, which is establishes a horizontal to
Yes, it does. And
notice the
when we
vertical
compare plumb lines,
change.
and when we compare plumb lines, they're not parallel.
Who compares plumb lines? You just said we.
The surveyor did.
Who?
Jesse
Lots of
Kozlowski
surveyors have done
Jesse
that, Bev. If
Kozlowski
you don't
didn't
know
do that with the plumb lines.
Google
Don't be
it.
saying Jesse does. He's gone hiding. Who did you say did what?
Many surveyors over hundreds of years.
Okay, so when you say we, you don't mean we as in you, do you?
It's fairly common.
Okay, right
and
now
it's not
with
unknown. It shouldn't be a surprise. I'm a bit surprised that you don't know about this, Bev, considering you claimed. I haven't finished my point. Can I actually finish a sentence? Are you that desperate to get in?
Go on.
Thank you. So it's been done many times over hundreds of years, and I'm actually surprised you're not aware of this claim.
Right now, presuming that if you can hold the concept of verticals that aren't parallel, that would mean that the perpendiculars from those vertical lines would intersect, the horizontals would intersect. And as we all know, it's built into Euclidean proofs and all of that if horizontals are parallel to the horizon, that means all horizontals are parallel to each other. And they therefore cannot intersect. It's all right. Don't worry about me finishing. I mean, just all of you jump in. Go on.
Yes, Bev, because whoever showed level line to be straight.
I'd like you to note the fact that I didn't jump in.
Yeah, you have to think about the word.
Try to let you finish.
It doesn't have to be you.
All the time, the people didn't know anything about gravity. To these people, a horizontal was something like a flat.
Listen,
that's how they built the pyramids.
Water
They
level
didn't know about
is
gravity
inherently
yet.
level, so it would follow the curve of the Earth. You wouldn't have this flat line like this tangential thing that you have in your drawing.
Well, you can have a tangent off a curved line, I mean, that's normal. Sorry, the reason I belabored that point, Bev... One second, percentage. The reason I belabored that point, Bev, is the only mob we've got in here at the moment is Chemo, and he looks for any single excuse he can to serve and mute me. So I want to be clear in the fact that I didn't interrupt you, didn't overtalk you. Hence, so I was sorry for being a bit pedantic.
It was a couple of other people. We couldn't really hear it. You might have been in there as well. I don't know. I couldn't hear.
No, I kept myself on mute, mate.
Bev, I feel like your test isn't addressing the most important issue. You're establishing that the level is equal altitude. We have no problem with that. But the disagreement between flat earthers and globe earthers is that they think the level is curving, and flat earthers say that the level is obviously straight.
Okay, can I just run by one thing with everyone, right? Would you agree that horizontal are straight lines?
A horizontal straight line is
definitely
straight, yes.
Straight line, right? So, if they are said to be parallel with another, they'd have to be parallel with another straight line, wouldn't they? Otherwise, you couldn't have a straight line parallel to, right?
You can have two curved lines being parallel.
Okay, but yeah, let me just get this out, right?
He's talking about horizontal. Horizontal would be straight line.
Straight lines which are parallel to the same straight line, right, are parallel to each other. Would you give me that?
No, we
What does the horizontal have to do with this?
Would you give me
parallel horizontal straight lines will not intersect? I will definitely give you that.
Horizontal, yeah, okay. So straight lines which are parallel to the same straight line are parallel to each other, then, right?
Yes.
Two horizontals that are the same.
That would be provable. That would be provable.
No, how is this related to his test?
So the issue is you haven't shown that the level is a straight line yet. So we need to reconcile that too.
I agree. Level's horizontal.
Okay.
I think the problem is percentage.
But you would have. You would have.
He had. Sorry, Bev, go on. You carry on, mate. I'll stop.
You would have a horizontal is perpendicular to vertical, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it is said in many places, science and maths books everywhere, that horizontal is parallel to the horizon. I mean, you might have heard it. I mean, you might not agree with it, but I mean, it's put everywhere.
But
Okay.
globe earthers don't, and that's why.
Yeah.
That's the
I need a
They
citation.
think that the horizon and the horizontal are different things. That the horizon is curved and the horizontals is a flat, straight line.
But that would put maths and all of that out because they, horizontals are parallel. That's how they're defined, right? Horizontals are parallel to the horizon.
No, they disagree with that.
Yeah. I know. They disagree with all sorts of stuff. They say definitions don't mean anything, so it doesn't really matter anything. But I mean,
specifically about 2D geometry, Bev, you're not talking about three-dimensional geometry.
What do you mean three-dimensional geometry? What are you talking about? What's
All
that? Sorry, what's
I'm surprised you've never heard of using geometry in 3 dimensions.
What sort of geometry? Yeah, but I understand. I understand Euclidean geometry.
I don't. I'm not going to sit here and.
I know you're not because you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not even going to. No, can you stop over talking? I'm not even going to sit here and entertain the fact that you do not believe that you can use geometry in 3 dimensions.
Euclidean geometry has solid geometry.
Why are you over talking?
Because you're saying that I've said something I haven't said.
This is the point where you should shut up and say sorry. Please finish. Are you going to let me finish? Thank you. So, again, I'm not going to entertain the fact that you are not aware that you can operate geometry in 3 dimensions, and that's different to doing it into 2 dimensions. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to entertain the fact that you aren't aware that there are other forms of geometry out there, and Euclidean geometry we tend to mainly use in 2-dimensional shapes and 3-dimensional projections on paper. That's what it's for. Okay. When we get into physical 3 dimensions, we start using sections and things like that, which are quite different from Euclidean rules.
Can I just say that who was that was just talking then? Druss doesn't even understand geometry. He thinks 2D geometry isn't a thing. Right, he doesn't know. He doesn't even know. No, let me finish. Come on, let me finish.
How dare you?
What do you mean? Let me finish.
How dare you?
Let me finish.
You said
you've got to let me finish. Stop interrupting me. How rude. How rude are you?
He's making the context in the second half of his sentence and you interrupted it. Let him finish his sentence.
Yeah, okay. The second half of your sentence.
So, Druss. Euclidean geometry has book 11. It is called solid geometry. That deals in 3-dimensional shapes. I fully am aware that we live in a 3-dimensional world and that Euclidean geometry is what we use to describe that 3-dimensional world. Right, I'm absolutely aware of it, so don't say that I don't understand it. Because you can't speak for me. I fully understand 3-dimensional geometry. I've done building construction at college for 2 years in my youth, right? Where I did, the majority of that was surveying, right? Now, when we did the surveying, we did surveying in the 3-dimensional world that we live in.
So, Bev, why can't you do a simple surveying for 1 year?
What the fuck?
A simple surveying task. You can't do it for 1 year. Why?
I'm a carer, right?
Okay.
I do not have a job. I do not have wealthy benefactors that give me money for shit and then not even bother about what I've done. Right, they just throw money at people.
You have time.
I don't have that.
Listen. I had a question in the beginning.
Listen.
That canal, you're doing the experiment here.
Experiment again.
Right.
Wow.
Oh, Bev, come on. You will try anything not to talk about what you're not doing. So, is the water in the canal moving or not?
Is the water in the canal moving? Well, there might be a fish in the two in there. I mean,
No, I'm talking about are they running or are they standing?
it's a canal.
But is the water like how fast is the
Jeez,
water moving?
dude, it's a
Canals
canal.
tend to be terminated by locks.
That would matter,
and
though.
therefore there isn't any current in a canal, generally in the UK. There are
No
exceptions
current.
to that. There are exceptions to
not
that,
current, but
but
the
they're
channel for
unusual.
watering something, there is current.
So I'm asking, is there a current or not?
No,
there's not
it
really
is
current.
a
In most
27-mile stretch of water in between locks.
Bev,
Okay.
So I have you the water level. You agree that the water in the canal are level?
Do you not think the water in the canal's
I saved
level?
You 1 mile.
No.
I saved you 1 mile of tube.
Yeah, a bit in the middle. Yeah. Let's go for a bit in the middle. Yeah, 1 mile.
A bit
Yeah.
in the middle.
Yeah. What is that? What
How
you're
long
doing?
is
I
the canal?
can't really hear what you're
How long is the
saying.
canal?
I can't hear what you're saying. What is
How
it you're
long
saying?
is the canal?
Which bit? Which bit of the canal? Do you want the whole length of the canal?
Yes.
It's 127 miles from Liverpool to Leeds. The Leeds to Liverpool Canal, it's called, and it is 127 miles.
So you have enough water level, right?
Yeah, they're all the bits in between the locks are all level. Yeah.
Okay. So between two locks you have leveled water.
Yep.
You don't need no tube.
Pardon?
You don't need no tube.
Okay, brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
You put a stick in the canal and you measure some height above it. Measure some height above it.
Yeah, go on. Is this your...
Do surveying
Who's this?
from.
Who's this? Litchwig? Is this your experiment? I like you guys like to have sticks.
To make it cheaper,
Sticks.
so you can do it on a budget.
Yeah, why are you guys listening to this guy with his stick? Because I mean he's making it look a bit stupid, right?
Because
he's calling this an experiment and then asking me to do it.
No test.
You think he's...
Let him talk. Let him explain his...
Let him explain his mad ramblings. Why doesn't he go off and prepare it and do his test himself?
You don't understand what he said if you don't explain it.
Is that what we do then? We come in here and we tell other people what tests they should be doing. Brilliant.
Listen, yeah, we've listened to you ramble on for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's fair to let Chike say what he wants to say.
Okay.
So be quiet.
Yeah.
So your problem.
This is to everyone, right?
Is a budget because
that means
it's a
be
lot
quiet,
of money.
yeah.
It's a lot of money, right?
It's a lot of money, is it?
Money. I don't know. You said I can't do it. I don't have money.
Well,
That's what you said.
I don't know. How much do you expect this will cost?
So I'm trying to make it a budget and equal test to
Okay.
use on a budget. Few sticks. That's all you need.
Brilliant.
3 sticks.
This is the globe method for what?
No.
Curvature?
No. It
Yeah,
might not
brilliant.
be completely
Fantastic.
constant.
What constant?
You need 3 sticks.
You measure a meter of it on 3 points. All those points are level.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know?
Is that what you're saying? So you're saying the water is level then? Because you know, Ruhif said that the water level isn't level. So are you saying the water level is level?
Of course.
Yeah, I would say that a water level of any distance is not establishing a perfect level or a theoretically perfect level.
A horizontal.
Because the Earth is curved.
Okay, right. Okay, so that goes against what Ruhif said, but okay.
Of course.
Like a water level will always give you equal elevation, but if it's long enough and it's further enough away, it will not coincide with level at one end.
So
did anyone disagree that the water level is level?
Yeah, Ruhif. Do you want me to put it in the debate chat box where he says it.
Like different definitions per level. I remember
What
that.
does it say?
Do you want me to get it for you?
Yeah, I would say that a water level of any distance is not establishing a perfect level or a theoretically perfect level.
A horizontal.
Because the Earth is curved.
The points between them are not level.
Isn't the water level curved, Chike?
That's what we're going to test.
Oh, with your sticks?
Bev says, do the 3 points.
No, you said you're doing... Who said 3 points? You said that, right?
Yeah, 3 points, yes.
Yeah.
You said you want 16. I'm trying to make a budget here.
Okay, well, it's a pity you can't see what's right in front of you, but I mean, hey, I'll explain it to anybody that wants to come and see it later if they want. Anytime, really.
So you make 3 level points and you see if they create a triangle between them or a straight line.
Yeah.
That's simple.
And it would be a straight line, wouldn't it? Because all the horizontals would be parallel, so it couldn't be a triangle. There's no chance it could be.
About it.
You couldn't have 3 different horizontals across the wall where you have one horizontal, could you? It's not possible.
You're right.
2 different horizontals.
Cheeky, how can you say that you don't know? On your model, they should be curving, right?
Horizontal is unique to one place at one time.
So, Paul, how much will it cost for your test then?
If you make this thing, 3 sticks, with on every stick on the top a ring, and then try to put the laser to these rings, to all these 3 rings, in the same time.
Brilliant. Sticks. Can we call this one? Is everyone here at Gem Pandas happy with this? Because we're going to be marketing this as the Gem Panda version of, I don't know, what is this? A curvature test?
Well,
to prove a curvature.
The recommendation would be to have your pipes that you're going to stick in the water sufficiently above the water so that they are out of the worst parts of the atmosphere.
Even altitude, yeah.
I would suggest maybe a nice 20-foot section of 4-inch pipe in each location. It'd be $30 for your whole experiment, maybe 60.
Who's that? That really bad. That is that another one?
You're cutting off, can't you?
Yeah, I can't hear.
Well, Paul, you must have costed your experiment or test, whatever you want to call it. So, how much is it?
For mine, would be about $60.
No, you're not Bev, so just let Bev on.
Mine would be 10.
So, Bev, how much you must have costed your test? So, how much?
It's £18.71 for 100 meters of tube, and then we reckon you could put about 400 meters on a hose reel. So that'd be each person having 400 meters of water level each, and then let's say 4 of us to get together, then that'd be a mile, wouldn't it? Yeah. So that'd be 4 of us with 400 meters each, and we'd be able to join them together.
So what's
18
the cost then?
times 4. It's more than $60.
So what's the cost then, Bev?
I just told you, didn't I?
No, you didn't. You give me distances of pipes. You didn't tell me how much it costs. So
£18.71 for 100 meters of tubing. So you're going to need 4 of those. You're going to need a few clips to put together, and obviously some wire to make sure that they don't leak.
So you haven't done that.
And then what you do is you put them together and you put the water in them, and then you can walk around with a 400 meter water level.
So none of that has got a price on it then, Bev, is it?
£18.71 for each 100 metres of water level.
So it's going to cost you £18.71 then?
For 100 metres of what? Like, I don't think we're not going to go full on and go, we need a P1000 or anything like that.
So clearly you're not going to do the test, Bev, isn't it? Because you can't even give me an overall price.
What do you mean? Have I not just told you? £18.71, right, for 100 metres of pipe. Right, now you're going to put 4 of those pipes together, so however much it's going to cost for all 4 of those, and then some bits to join them together, right? Maybe a clamp or two to stop the water from leaking out, right? And then let's say a 15 quid for a hose reel to put them on, right? Then that's it. That's a 400 meter thing. Now, just about 100 quid, let's say. Let's say 100 quid.
Right, well, Racket said he was paying for it, so he changed his mind.
No, Racket, Dave will be doing his own. He'll have 400 metres of his own. Like, he'd be Dave's willing to test this for himself, right? That's the idea of this. It's not, no, it's not for me to do it. It's for everybody to have a go at it. Yeah.
What
do you think of Slice Arcane's 17-point water test?
Can you not fucking hear me?
Justy always talks all over everyone, doesn't he?
So, Bev, Rakia said he's going to fund the test. So isn't that not happening now then?
Well, I don't. What do you mean?
Found it that it's done.
Well, Rakia
video
came
about
here
it.
and he told us he was going to fund the test.
Did he?
So yeah. So you're saying that he's not going to fund the test?
I don't know. He might be doing it on his own, like, because that's the idea here.
No, he said he was funding your test.
What we do is
He
we
said
get
he'd
it.
fund any test.
We get it cheap enough so people can do it independently. Mark, that's what we like doing. We like doing things so everyone can do it for themselves, right? We like making it nice and easy. We like people getting out there doing things.
Can you do a picture from your test, please?
Yeah. When we're out there next, yes, of course I can. You can even join the live stream when we're doing it next time if you want.
Why haven't you done the test yet? You've been talking about this for a long time.
Sorry, why haven't I done what? Sorry, what was that?
A drawing.
Stop worrying about who's saying things.
Sorry, I can't hear. Everybody's talking over each other.
There's two people, not everybody.
Okay.
What did you expect about your test? What will happen?
I expect a lot of people to get really butthurt.
No. What is your make a drawing about that? What you mean happens?
I've done loads of drawings.
It's in the chat. You can see it.
Yeah, his drawings deviate from reality.
Where's my drawings? My drawings are in the chat.
No, it's not yours, but it's the same as yours.
Just somebody's drawings. Somebody's done a drawing.
Done a 17-point
Don't
water
worry
level test,
about it.
and it showed the bend of the Earth.
Who did?
Splice Barcade.
He did a what?
17-point
Don't
water level
worry
test,
about it.
and it showed the bend of the Earth.
Who did?
Splice Barcade.
He did a what?
17-point
Don't
water
worry
level test,
about it.
and it showed the bend of the Earth.
Who did?
Splice Barcade.
He did a what?
17-point
Don't
water
worry
level test,
about it.
and it showed the bend of the Earth.
Who did?
Splice Barcade.
He did a what?
He did a 17-point water
He's done a
test.
drawing of it,
I
has
know
he?
that you know this, Bev.
He's
because
done a
I've seen the
drawing of
tweets
it.
between you and him on.
He's
the
not
topic.
actually done it, has
So
he?
I don't know why you're
He's not done
pretending
it.
to be ignorant.
He's not done it, has he? No, he's not. He's not done it at all. He did. He tried to do it first. He took everybody's money, got all the equipment, and then couldn't find all the leaks. The water was pissing out everywhere. He didn't have a clue what he was doing. I've asked him since then to have a word with us because we've got a very similar test, right? Very similar, and he won't come and talk to us. It's like a butthurt little bit.
Is the canal leaking, Ted?
You're making the observation from the center, though.
Who is? Who is?
You are. Aren't you making your
Who's just told me that I've done something from the centre? Have you done that? Have you been listening to Slice Barcade? Sounds like it.
I got it from your video.
Pardon?
He got it from your video.
Which one? The one where I was explaining how people use auto levels before I was going over how the hump of the Rakia's bridge.
Can you tell me where Bev? Can you tell me in Euclid's
Oh, God, here we go again. We're all over the place.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Can you tell
In
me
the
where
elements.
Euclid describes the concept of level.
In the elements.
Mm.
Yeah. And that would be a right angle, wouldn't it? Perpendicular.
No, I'm talking about the concept of level.
Yeah. The horizontal, unequal, uneven, even,
not a level, that's a
unaltering
horizontal.
in height with a vertical from
Level
it,
and horizontal
perpendicular.
can be the same, but they're not necessarily the same. So I'm asking where he's describing level as a concept.
He doesn't describe level as a concept. It's bloody geometry, you muppet.
Ah, okay, cool. That's good.
What? Like, level is the term we use for horizontal in reality. Working people use
No,
it.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
In surveying,
Yes, it is.
a level is a tool, and level is a line or a surface.
What have you done working with tools? Ever?
Fair
Foolish.
enough. I work with tools pretty much every working day of my life.
Okay, now a level. What have you established about a level? Please.
But, Bev, the definition of a level
have you
is
established?
a line or a surface
Yeah.
equally distant from a common reference point.
Yeah, a vertical datum, right?
A common reference point.
A vertical datum.
No, a common
Yes.
reference point.
Yes. A vertical
Because
datum or a
things
benchmark.
I can have two lines that are level that are perpendicular to a plane. They're still level and they're rising vertically. So again,
What?
that shows that your
No, you
description was
can't
not
have
correct.
a vertical level. You can't. You just simply can't. Stop saying
Yes,
it.
because I can have two lines that are equidistant from a common reference point. They would be level. Doesn't matter what direction they're going in.
Yes,
they could be
it
level
would.
Because it's a relationship
No.
between
Foolish.
two objects,
Foolish.
not one.
Foolish. Stop it.
Would.
You cannot
How
have
are you
a
saying
vertical level.
How would you use a water
Is he
level?
saying level is parallel?
Vertical. Yeah, he's just saying. Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to
how's he
say
gonna
level
use
is
a
parallel.
a
That's not what
water
level is.
It
I
can
know.
be parallel.
So how are you
Yes,
going to use the
all
water level?
horizontals
The-
are parallel.
Always parallel. Level is always parallel, regardless if it's a flat line or a curved line. It's going to be parallel with whatever lines that are.
No, it is a straight line.
No, it doesn't.
It
Concentric
is.
circles can be level with respect to one another, Beth.
Level, man. Why do you keep on getting it wrong?
Concentric circles can be level. Who said that?
With respect to
Like,
one another.
like a
Yes,
like a
it's
tier. Like, you know, when you're making
It says it can be
cake at
parallel.
a wedding,
Exactly
and
what
there
it's
are
triggered.
concentric circles on different levels. That sort of is that what you mean?
No,
No,
what I
that's not what
said
you
is
mean.
what I mean, Bev. Why are you trying
No,
to
they can run-
reinterpret
they
what I
cannot
just said?
intersect-
You
yeah,
don't know what level
Concentric
means, is what
circles
I'm
can-
basically saying.
Or could
Oh
it
my
be you
God.
don't know?
You know, I definitely know
Really
what
doesn't
level
know
is.
this time.
You definitely are wrong.
Listen, Bev is going off the basis that horizontal is horizon, that the horizon is horizontal.
Yeah, they're all parallel.
Others are saying
Because-
Parallel
horizontal is not
to.
horizon.
Mm.
The
No
horizon is
disrespect,
not
Bev.
horizontal. That's
No
the issue
disrespect,
here.
Bev. You know, I appreciate the fact you're a carer, but you're a carer. You don't use these tools every day, so I don't know why you're trying to make that claim about
I have
someone else.
been to college and studied it. Do you have
Congratulations on your
any?
university.
Do you have
what?
any qualifications at all to do with surveying?
I've got a degree in archaeology.
Right. Have you got any qualifications at all
Think about
to
that
do
before you ask that
with
question again. About what
surveying?
archaeology requires you to do.
Survey?
Lots of that. Lots of surveying.
Right, so
Yes.
the level you use in surveying, does that establish a horizontal plane of reference? From which you can measure a vertical distance from?
Colloquially,
No, it
yes.
wouldn't.
Do you think there's
It
more
wouldn't.
to that, though?
It
It
wouldn't.
wouldn't. Listen.
Colloquially.
Who said it
From-
wouldn't?
from-
Who's
I
that?
said that.
Who's
Listen to
that?
me, percent. So
Percent.
listen,
Oh, right. So you
From-
think
it
an
gives us
auto
a
level
vertical.
doesn't do what it does?
if it gives you level, it's not going to give you, in terms of the actual argument here, horizontal. What would give you horizontal is if you have the vertical, the plumb, right? That gives you vertical. Perpendicular to that would give you horizontal. Now, globe earthers would say that horizontal is a tangent line to the globe, to the curve, which is the horizon. You understand? They hold them in different levels. They say the horizon is different from the horizontal, whereas what I believe it is, and what my experience is, and everything's shown me, is that the horizontal is the horizon. They came up with the word horizontal because it means, like the suffix horizontal, octagonal, pentagonal. All of those means pertaining to. So horizontal means pertaining to the horizon. It's Occam's razor that they thought that, you know, the horizon was flat, and because it presents itself to be flat.
Horizontal's definitely a straight line, though, right?
Horizontal is definitely a straight line, but they don't believe that level is horizontal. They believe the level is the horizon, but the horizon is not horizontal.
I know.
If that
I
makes
know.
any sense.
Yeah, and Jesse Kozlowski said it's a measurable drop. The water level drops away from horizontal.
And he's a professional.
Yeah.
You are not a professional, and you think you know more than he does.
Well, I know that the water level doesn't drop away from horizontal. I know that for a fact.
How do you know, Bev?
Because
How do you know?
because it a water level is a tool to
how do you know,
establishes
Ben?
a horizontal, so it
He
can't
hasn't
drop
done the
away
test, so the
from
answer is
itself.
He doesn't know. He's now trying to fill in.
How do you know, Bev? Have
He
you
hasn't done the
tested?
test.
Went to university.
No,
hey,
college.
Bev, if you'll look in the debate chat, I just posted a citation. Using level curves, all of the level curves of the surface given by the equation z equals f of, I'm sorry, this is small, xy.
Over
X. It's just a contour line, dude.
Circle.
Yeah, just a contour line.
That's it. It just refutes everything you've been talking about, but it's just a
No, it's just a contour line. That's all points at a similar elevation. It's all of them. That's what a contour line is. A horizontal slice through the mountain.
Horizontal.
Who's getting triggered?
I was just making fun of you. I wasn't triggered at all.
He's making fun of me.
I have to light a joint for every time one of you says triggered.
Question.
Triggered.
Okay, there's an assertion that the Earth is curved.
Yeah.
And your test is insufficient to determine because
It's just a personal test, dude. No need to get all upset about it.
Boy, shut up, Luke.
Like, what's your best test? How would you do it? How would you measure the
So I can
curve?
hear you
I
because I
really
didn't hear
think
the
that
end
the
of your
best
sentence.
test is a plumb line stop being parallel. I think it's awesome.
I'd use GPS.
You could do both.
GPS, and you can verify it with GPS. That'd be cool. And you have two different mechanisms for doing it. Then you could also survey it and see if it's the same. If you can get all three of those things to line up, then you got a curved surface, buddy.
I did my measurement with a sextant. That was pretty good.
What angle?
That's 4.
Measured an angle, did you? Is that the famous Ruhif angle? Kosho tried to give us that the other day as well.
Like a sailor would. It's pretty simple, Bev.
Uh-huh. And what did you drop? Like, did you measure how far the drop of the water was in front of you?
No, Bev, that's not what sextant do.
Oh.
You use the theodolite.
Sextants don't even really look at the horizon, do they?
No, not really. Just have to level them.
You just have to reference it.
Yeah.
Reference the vertical.
You can set one up on the water level. It doesn't need the actual horizon.
Just needs a horizontal.
All you need
There's
to
an
do
easy
is
way. Why
take
don't we go? Why don't we go and look at a surveying textbook and see what that says?
Yeah,
Maybe that
go
would be the
on.
best
Why
place to go
not?
and look.
Why not? Let's not
Well, it's
actually
what you would have been
work it
taught at
out for
college, wouldn't it,
ourselves and
Bev?
use our brains. Or nah.
No, Bert.
Yeah,
But
just
this
read
is
a
what you
book.
would have been taught at college. You're quoting
Do you think?
Euclid. You're quoting. You're quoting, citable stuff. So let's continue down that path.
Yeah.
And why don't we look at what they teach at college to space? Or were you taught this and you think it's wrong?
He said,
I won't bother.
when I did it, it was before GPS and all of that. So right, we just used traditional methods, and what they said was, we just assume plane parallel for like up to 100 square miles or something like that, right? So basically, what they were saying was, we just assume plane parallel, right?
Why?
Because that's what they do.
No. I want to hear his answer to this, please. Sorry, Bev, carry on.
That's what they do.
No, but why? Why do you think that? Why do you think
Because
they
that's
consider it?
what they do.
Yeah, but why do you think that that's acceptable to an industry that has a certain level of tolerance requirement in its methodology?
Well, like I would imagine that if they assume plane parallel, and when they were building the canals, then I assume that, you know, like that 27-mile stretch of canal, like we said, back in the 1800s, that they just assumed that was a horizontal, and then the water filled it up, and, well, it seemed to be like a plane parallel.
A specific sort of area that they tend to look at when they're considering things to just be a plane.
Yeah, 100 square miles. That's because no project ever goes that far. That's why they do it, right?
Yeah. And if I'm building something that's about 400 feet long, so I'm building something like a warehouse.
Yep.
Yeah. How much do I need to build in a concern for curvature?
Zero. You've got
flat?
0 because it's a horizontal plane.
It's the square root of, because it's the square root of fuck all difference, isn't it?
Well, no, it's because it's not there. There is no curvature. The horizontal is the level that you use.
Yeah, that foundation at the end points will not be level at those points.
Well,
yes, of course it will. Of course it will. Were you saying that builders, the guys that do the concreting, will say, oh, it might be level at the beginning, but don't worry about the end. You know, curvature of the earth and all that shit.
I got a simple question for you. Then why does
you guys have never actually worked and done any of this, have you?
Why does the horizon drop with elevation, and it drops in a predictable amount, equating to a sphere that's 8,000 miles in diameter?
Are you going upwards? Are you going upwards?
Yes, but why does it drop?
Because are you going in the up direction?
It wouldn't drop as fast as it does.
Are you going in the up direction?
Man.
Yeah, when you go
right,
up,
so
even if you
what the stuff underneath you is that going in the
1,000 feet?
If you're going in the up direction,
you half a degree of drop. That's
if you're going in the up direction, is the stuff underneath you going in the down direction?
It's an infinite plane. How would it?
It doesn't matter. No. The horizon would not drop on an infinite plane, or even just a very large sphere.
Imagine.
If the Earth was the size of
Jupiter, are you imaginometrying
there would be
whatever?
Hardly any change in drop with elevation.
There would
have to
be.
Go very high to start seeing the drop. You'd have to go very. You wouldn't see half a degree in 1,000 feet. That's for sure.
Right. Okay. So you're telling us what we would see.
Yeah, you can model this all out.
Have you been up to see that?
Oh, no. Yes, I've measured that directly.
Oh, in a plane?
It's called theodolite.
You've done a theodolite in a plane?
I've done it.
Fantastic.
I've done it from various heights on a mountain overlooking the ocean.
Wow. You've done what? What was that you did on the top of a mountain?
I've measured the horizon drop with elevation.
Okay, so you've gone up. You've gone up to the top of a mountain. And you've measured an angle.
Right.
Okay. Brilliant. We had this the other day. I did just say, just a minute. I did just say earlier, we had Ruhif do this and Kosho, right? So, please, you've gone up a height and you've measured an angle. Please continue.
Yeah, and that angle,
flat Earth horizon always rise to the eye level.
Which is accurate, which it would. If
Come on,
it was a flat
explain what you're doing with an angle.
Even not an not an infinite flat plane, just a really long flat plane that's a few thousand miles long.
Please, you've got an angle on a stick.
Degree of drop. You would not see half a degree of drop in 1,000 feet of elevation.
You've got an angle on a stick.
Depending on how big the plane is. If it's infinite, no matter how high
what do you do with an angle on a stick?
Drop in the horizon.
What do you do with an angle on a stick?
Sorry, Jack, I missed the last part of what you're saying because Bev kept trying to overtalk you again. Could you just repeat
I'm talking too.
I said, as long as the plane is very big, it doesn't have to be infinite, but if it's a few thousand miles long, you'd have to go much, much higher than 1,000 feet to see any kind of a drop.
Depending
stick. On how big the plane is. If the plane is infinite, no amount of height can increase that, could create a drop from horizontal. No amount, okay? So it would depend on how big the flat plane is, but we know it's at least a few thousand miles long, which means that there's no way it should drop half a degree in 1,000 feet.
What? Go on. Explain your angle on the stick, please.
I'm curious what the size of...
It's an angle from horizontal.
Yeah.
I'm curious to what the size of the plane has to do with anything you're doing locally, too.
No, I need to know what they do with this angle. A few people have told me they go up to a mountain and they measure an angle. Well, go on. Oh, fucking hell.
I thought we were supposed to interrupt. I thought we said we interrupt here.
Let me just say, I
Yeah, but
agree
you
with
say
you.
the same thing over and over.
Scott,
Each
can I
turn.
ask one question?
Hold on,
How
let me
can
just
you
finish my
say I'm
thought.
going
Denmark,
straight
let
on
me
a
just finish
flat
my thought,
surface
man.
as compared to going straight on a round surface? And how do you define that when you just say that sentence? I'm going straight. If I'm on a flat surface, what's that mean now?
It means the shortest line
Where's
between
the
two.
curve at?
Means the shortest line between 2 points.
So no curve exists there, right?
And if you go on a straight line, then in the context of where you're at, if you're on the surface of something, then
Would
you're
your
going to be the line.
definition still work?
Again?
So how come you're? So how would your definition still work on both?
If you look it up, you'll find that it's in the context of whatever dimensionality you're in. So if you're on
Right. Exactly. No, you got it. So you're guessing ball, so you keep saying in the context of ball. Why don't you just speak in the context of a flat reality that we experience?
Well, I'm just talking about the abstract truth. I'm talking about the fact that you can have a straight line on a spherical.
Yeah, objectively, a hula hoop or like the line on a basketball, they're all not straight lines. I agree with you. Depending on your perspective, they can look straight. If you're looking at it from one axis, then it can look like a straight line. But it's objectively not a straight line. None of the great
Yes, it
circle
is.
arcs
On a 3D
are
object. I'm
are
posting a
straight
link right
lines.
now. I'm posting a link right now.
You're just using the
This
wrong.
is
You're
what it's
using the
talking
wrong
about.
definition of straight. You're too rigid in your definition.
No, that's
Right.
the
In spherical
objective
geometry,
definition of
great
straight.
circles are straight lines. Straight lines.
You're
That's
just
what it
wrong
says.
about this.
Verbatim.
You just
Only
don't
in
know.
one-
You don't know
only
the
in one
nuances of the word.
Guys, just a second here. We all agreed that this in spherical geometry it was 2D, right? If it's 2D, then a straight line obviously follows that spherical geometry. It's not that hard.
I mean, it's the idea of you taking the casual use of the word that you use when you walk around, and you're misapplying it to a very specific, precise discipline, which is define the word in a very specific and precise way.
Straight.
No, you make your definitions as you participate in a dialectic, right? And that definition is found wanting.
No, it's like you use the word
Hijack
theory.
definition.
If you use the word theory in a casual way, you're going to be saying the opposite sentiment of what the word theory means. In
Can't
scientific context.
redefine straight.
You have to know the context in which you're using words.
Yeah, and we do. And I agree with you. Depending on your perspective, it can look straight, and the horizon looks straight, even though it goes all the way around you, right?
Here's the real truth of it: is that the word is defined in this context. So if you ask somebody who knows a lot about this discipline, if you say, "Can you have a straight line on a spherical?" Now their answer is going to be what? It's going to be yes, because they've learned, they know, they have the expertise and the education and the experience to know. Hold on, I'm not done. To know that the word means the word has been defined in the context of that particular discipline to mean a certain thing. Now, if that's the truth, and that is the truth, if that's the truth in the world, then it's just perverse to claim otherwise. So the word does have a meaning in context, and in this context, it does have that meaning.
Yeah.
And that's bullshit. I disagree. It's incorrect.
Yeah, you need to find a source.
You're wrong.
For
Look
that.
it up. It's
you
all
need to
over
find a
the...
source that agrees with what you're claiming is wrong. You need to find a source for it.
I don't think it's final source. So that would be crazy.
No, I'm just saying. I keep giving him what it verbatim means in spherical geometry, and it says verbatim, quote unquote, in spherical geometry, straight lines are great circles.
So there you
verbatim.
go.
I'll get you a link that says that in reality this isn't like in actuality, but this is how we think about it in spherical geometry, and it's not completely
How we
accurate.
think about something and how something is.
Yeah, I'll get you the link. Don't worry about it. It's
Okay,
from a spherical geometry source.
But I mean, that's a great. Even if you got that link, it'd be great. I believe you could probably get that. That's fine, but that isn't really addressing the point here. The point here is you ask without context. You say, "Can you have a straight line in geometry?" Yes, in spherical geometry, here's how straight lines are defined. So therefore, a great circle is a straight line. Done. That should be a standard, simple. We can now move past that. Now, if your point is in all dimensions it's not straight, we all agree with that. So where's the disagreement?
You can't redefine a straight line.
Not redefining a straight line.
Yeah, you are.
What you can do with spherical geometry is have a triangle, 3 straight lines with 3 points with angles greater than 180.
You
That's what you can do
cannot.
with spherical geometry. So
No,
when we
you
talk about a
can't.
triangle, when we talk about a triangle on a flat surface, yes, it's going to add up to 180, no matter what the angles are. On a spherical surface, you can have angles varying all over with 3 straight lines, 3 points.
Can't have 3 straight lines in a triangle with more than 180 degrees. It's just not possible.
And this is where it fails.
You can.
This is where
Exactly. It's not possible.
It is possible.
It's
your
not
rigidness
possible,
with these definitions
Scott.
is just. It's myopic.
It's not.
It's perverse.
It's not possible.
It is. It's peevish on your part. It's like saying because I don't know about a discipline's unique definitions or their technical definitions, they can't exist.
No, I know, Scott.
They violate the law of non-contradiction. You can't have a great circle arc and say it's a straight line. It's an arc.
Sure you can. You can. You know how you do that?
Scott.
Because a straight line is defined as the shortest distance between 2 points. The context of that is on the surface in which you can draw the straight line. If your surface happens to be a flat plane, it means one thing. If it happens to be a spherical plane, a spherical surface,
you can't just
that means something
misappropriate
else.
the definition, Scott. It's not a straight.
It's not. This is original definitions. These are
points.
ancient original definitions. These are old definitions.
You can't. Again, you
these
can't
are not
just say
new
a straight line is the
definitions.
shortest line between 2 points and then
redefinitions.
presuppose a curve.
These are old and ancient definitions. These are definitions that probably predate the English language, for Christ's sake.
No, the only reason you're saying it's the shortest line between 2 points is because you're like assuming that those points are on a curved surface or whatever, a curve, and that's why
I'm telling you that this is the definition. This is the definition of straight.
It's fucking bullshit.
This is the definition of straight. This is the definition of straight that predates the language, and this definition allows for these things to be different.
You're
in
able
different
to get
cases.
your answer in full. We say one or two.
No, I don't get my answer in full, Kimo. I don't. Percent interrupts every time. You're crazy. No, I don't. He's been interrupting every single time.
No, we're saying one or two words, and you jump all over.
I promise.
All right, so I agree with you that a straight line would be the shortest line between 2 points, regardless of like the orientation, regardless of you like anything, right? Just abstractly, it would be. But when you try to presuppose a curve or like a globe or something like that, then it's no longer a straight line. A straight line is not the shortest line between 2 points in that context.
Only if you allow for multiple.
Let me finish.
Only
you can't reimagine the context and use the same definition.
Only if you can imagine. Only if you allow for drawing a line in more than one dimension. So if we're in a world that's okay, we're in a 3-dimensional world, and we want to draw the shortest line between 2 points, and the 2 points happen to be on a sphere inside this 3-dimensional world, then the shortest line would go in through the center of the sphere. We go into the interior of the sphere. That's not spherical geometry, though. In spherical geometry, that's a 2-dimensional world on which the surface of which you're on is going to be curved. Okay.
Not
in that
necessarily.
And that's what I heard you guys said. You guys already agreed to. Somebody said we already agreed.
For instance, let's say you wanted to get that shortest line, you could drill into the earth or what?
No, not a 2-dimensional world.
Into the ball, you know.
Okay. Not in a 2-dimensional world. In a 2-dimensional world, you cannot do that. In a 2-dimensional world, that's a 3-dimensional world in which you could do that. In a 2-dimensional world, you cannot do that. Hold on. I was in the middle of a sentence. Percent interrupted. Now you're interrupting it.
Chill. Three-dimensional world. Scott, it's a 3-dimensional world, right? You have a ball. It's a 3-dimensional world. You're trying to put a straw through the ball, the shortest distance between 2 points.
That's what I said. That's what I said to you. Okay, that's what I said to you in the first half before you interrupted. Is that in a 3-dimensional world, that line goes through the sphere? Fine, right? We agree. In a 2-dimensional world, which is the world in which I heard somebody say that you guys had all already agreed to, but in a 2-dimensional world in which spherical geometry is a thing, if the surface is a curved surface in this 2D world, then in that world, the great circle is a straight line.
Are you saying you're a 2D earther, Scott?
Hold on. I'm in the middle of something here. You'll get a chance to talk when I'm done.
Nice 2D earther. Love it.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but just let me finish what I'm saying. So in the case, that's where the line on the great circle is going to be straight. Now, in the case of drawing a line on a sphere, you're restricted to the 2 dimensions there. So in the sphere, you can't go underneath or above, right? If you're drawing it on, you're eliminating an entire dimension from your world. And in that world, the straight is defined in a certain way.
Yeah, but that's what you're doing,
Scott,
and it's unnecessary to limit it from 3D to 2D. That's completely unnecessary.
Scott, I put a photo
Wait, now we're talking definitional.
of
Go ahead.
between Detroit and Anchorage. It's a straight line. Go ahead and have a look at it. It's in chat.
And more specifically,
flight path on our Earth. Tell me if that's a straight line.
If there's an arc in it, then it's not a straight line now.
Look at the photo. Is that a straight line?
You'd have to post it again.
That's straight, yeah.
Geodesics are not straight.
Geodesics are straight lines.
I'm not sure how you call that line not straight in that picture.
Yeah, to be more specific about the 2D, 3D. Go ahead.
If you move it slightly on the Earth, you'll see what that line actually looks like. I'll post that.
I was just going to say, to be more specific about the 2D or 3D, just talking about the surface of a sphere. So there's no cutting through the surface of a sphere. It's just the surface. That's why you're talking about it in forms of geodesic, because that's not what's being talked about. If you're talking about the three-dimensional, if you're talking about the three-dimensional sphere, that's different than talking about the surface of a sphere.
We're talking about the three-dimensional Earth.
Yeah, all right. So when you're talking about spherical geometry 2D,
the straight line that's the quickest between 2 points.
There's no vertical component, is there?
You have to stay with the curved surface, or that you're presupposing.
I just posted that same flight path from a slightly different angle. Now look at it.
So this two-dimensional surface you're on has no vertical component, has it?
I just said, instead of talking about it in 2D or 3D, you just talk about it as the surface of a sphere.
Yeah, but what that means, though, anytime you go any vertical distance, you have to make a completely new, two-dimensional surface of that sphere. Because there's no vertical component in your two-dimensional surface that you think you live on.
I just told you, for the sake of the retards in here, that you don't have to speak about it as 2D and 3D.
Do you know what all of us are called? Two dimensions.
I think the real point here, though, is that when we're talking about this, we need to be careful about what we say and ask. And when can a line be straight on a sphere?
The real thing we need to be thinking of here is that Scott thinks he lives on a two-dimensional surface of a sphere.
Wait, why would I live? We're three-dimensional beings.
What's a two-dimensional surface, Scott? Should we have a look up? Have a look up what a two-dimensional surface is, will you?
We live in a three-dimensional world. I need to bring this to you, Bev.
Veach, we need, because we were talking before. It's way too hyper. Everyone's too excited. You know, I mean, can we stick to one point and try and answer that point?
Surface is the definition of two-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, in spherical geometry, there's 3 dimensions. There's 2 dimensions that describe where you are.
That's not what it says.
Please don't talk, Bev, because you're never gonna get this. But there's 2 dimensions in reference to the surface of the sphere, and the 3rd dimension represents the radial distance.
No.
This is the 3-dimensional in spherical geometry.
No, spherical geometry is the surface of the sphere, right? So, in order to first of all make the spherical object that you're going to then turn into a two-dimensional surface, you need the radius, right? That establishes your two-dimensional surface that you're going to make. Now, I will give it to you, a two-dimensional surface is a flat. But I mean, I'm okay with you thinking you live on a two-dimensional surface. I mean, that sounds brilliant to me.
What do you mean by? Why do you think we live on a two-dimensional surface, Bev? It's three-dimensional.
You've just argued for your two-dimensional surface.
No, we're talking about spherical geometry before. That's abstract. We're talking about the real. We're talking about where we live.
Oh, okay. So it's not reality then. Brilliant. Fantastic.
When you ask this question, can a straight line exist on a sphere? The answer to that question is going to be yes.
No, the answer
is... That's a question about geometry. That's not a question about the Earth. That's not a question about where we live. That's a question about geometry.
Right, you can't have a straight line on the surface of a sphere.
I disagree. As all the
what's a tangent then?
Tangent to the sphere.
What is a tangent?
Tangent to the line.
Is it a straight line? Is it a straight line?
Can I answer your question without you interrupting? A tangent is going to be a line that touches the sphere at one point only.
A straight line, is it?
It could be straight, sure.
But you can also have a straight line that is the circumference of a circle.
Yes.
So how do you differentiate between a tangent and a straight line?
Can I finish what I'm saying? If you can also have something that tangents that's curved, a curve can tangent at one point.
A what? A turf? Did you just?
A curve can tangent at one point only.
Sorry, say that again.
A curve could tangent at one point only.
A curve can tangent.
Tangent surface.
What does that mean?
It touches the surface at one point only.
The curve does.
Yeah, Bev's not getting it.
Yeah, well, I think Scott's lost himself. He's got straight lines. He's going crazy with straight lines, right? He's made a new straight line that curves, and now he's struggling to know what a straight line is.
What are you talking about? I'm telling you, you said, can you have a tangent? I said, sure. You said, is the tangent straight? I said, sure. And I said, by the way, you can also tangent something. Two things can be tangent, even if they're curved, because as long as they're only touching at one spot, we can call that tangent. I think that's right. I could be wrong about it. Maybe that's not technically something.
You have tangents.
Okay, so you're still okay with the surface of a sphere being 2 dimensions then, or is that 3 in reality? Not in the abstract world that you deal with in your geometry.
I'm not really sure what you're asking, but the sphere itself is a 3-dimensional object.
Right.
So if you restrict yourself to only working on the surface of the sphere, you're restricting yourself to 2 dimensions.
Okay. So when I do my thing, like if the Earth is a spherical object, P, then the surface of liquid water must curve. You'd say that curve has to be a 2-dimensional thing, would you?
I guess, yeah, if you're saying, okay, if the Earth is a spherical object, then we have this water on it.
Yeah.
The surface of the water, we would draw a line, say, for the surface of the water. That line would appear to curve from a 3-dimensional perspective.
But it would be a straight line, would it?
By definition, in spherical geometry, you call that straight.
But that would be the horizontal, right?
It's not. It would say it's not. I would say it's. I could be wrong about this, but I don't think the word horizontal would count there. I think the word horizontal makes a distinction between these things.
What?
I think
for straight?
But I may be wrong about those definitions.
You wouldn't say horizontal is straight.
And by the way, let me make one other point here, which is that this is definitional, and what I don't understand is
it's not. It's practical. Like this is in reality. It's not just definitions.
Just try not to interrupt one time. This is definitional because you keep asking, is this a blank? Is this a blank? And what you're asking me to do is remember the definition of blank, and then figure out whether that falls into
horizontal.
Hold on, let me finish.
2-dimensional.
That's okay. Just let me finish, and that's fine. But what we really care about, we all can visualize this stuff. We all know what it looks like. We all know what we're talking about. What we should care about here is what's the reality. Hold on, Bev. What's the reality of the underlying real world? Like, what is the truth about the real world, right? Not so much what does the
reality truth
when it was put down by so and so in 15.
2-dimensional.
Hold on. When we decide what that word means, who cares whether that meant this or that or this or that, right? What we care about is, does the water itself actually curve?
Yeah, who cares? I mean, like, you can call a great circle horizontal quite easily, like your man did earlier. And then you can say it's a straight line, but also on the other side, you can then say, well, it's the circumference of a circle as well. So, I mean, it curves as well. It depends, whatever you want. Like, you can have both. If it curves and is straight at the same time. I mean, it's just definitional. I mean, who cares?
You might want to clear this up.
Bev, and it doesn't always comport with a set of rules that you have laid down, does it?
What doesn't?
These definitions are determined by reality.
Yeah, they come from the definitions of geometry.
You're making a point, not the other way around. These definitions do not define reality. Doesn't matter what you think a word means or a phrase means, and how many people you can get to agree with you on the meaning of that phrase. It will not make any difference to the shape of the Earth or what reality is.
That's what I've said all along, Jim. It's like it doesn't. Jim, like, I don't get upset about it.
I think this is the trick that you pull.
I'm not trying to do anything about the shape of the Earth. Just here, triggering people, right? That get really annoyed at stuff.
We're really annoyed at your interruptions because you do interrupt incessantly.
Right. So your aim is to play a game with people that frustrates them to the point where they get angry.
Do you get frustrated, Jim?
And I think that's pretty shitty, really.
Yeah.
Jim, you mind?
Shitty thing to. Well, you can if you like.
What annoys you the most, Jim?
What?
What annoys you the most?
I think it's dishonest.
What is the most dishonest thing that you think I say?
You're pretending that you're sort of riding on the back of the whole flat Earth meme, pretending that you're engaging in an argument about it, when in actual fact you aren't. You're just trying to make people cross. And I think that's dishonest.
Are you getting cross, Jem?
Do I sound cross?
Well, I don't know. Well, why are you assuming I'm trying to make people cross? We're just trying to learn geometry and reality.
When I'm cross, you won't need to ask me about whether I'm cross or not.
Just so you know, Bev.
Just
Bev,
said
I
you
just
like
want
to
you to know,
trigger
Bev.
people.
Bev, he's not cross. I'll let you know. I'll let you know every 10 seconds whether he is or isn't. Okay.
Sweet.
He's still not cross.
Go ahead, Bob. Sorry. Go ahead.
Scott, I think the biggest problem that he's running into is this concept of a sphere having a two-dimensional surface. What he doesn't realize is that in order for a sphere to have a two-dimensional surface, you have to view the radius itself as the third.
I don't want to be rude, but did you not hear what he just said?
And
he has no interest in the shape of the Earth. He's just trying to make people cross.
No, I listened very carefully to it, but I think there's people
what he
out here
just
that are a
said.
little confused about that.
Okay.
It's fine.
Go on, Bob.
Yeah, I'm being respectful about it.
Yeah, go on.
So if he wants to try and make the argument that the Earth is a two-dimensional surface, he's accepting the radius of the Earth. And if he accepts the radius of the Earth is a sphere. End of discussion.
Sorry, Bob. I don't understand that. If you're saying the surface of a sphere or spherical geometry being the surface of a two-dimensional surface of a sphere, right? Well, that breaks the rules of geometry because you need, first of all, to use the definition of Euclidean geometry to define the sphere.
I already did it. Thank you.
Yo,
Hey, I was starting a sentence right there. A location on Earth is given by longitude, latitude, and elevation.
Yeah, the longitude and latitude is the two-dimensional surface, right? The two-dimensional coordinate system.
Is where you're at.
Yeah, and if that's a vertical distance above a datum, right? So there's a two-dimensional surface, and the elevation is measured as a vertical distance above that two-dimensional surface. Perfect. Yeah.
The center of a sphere.
Longitude, latitude,
measured above the center of a sphere.
What's a two-dimensional surface? Does anyone know?
A sphere.
It's centered above the center of a sphere.
I'm saying it correctly. Longitude and latitude gives it to you as elevation because that's what's relevant. But in reality, the spherical geometry, the three coordinates, is the two angles and the radial distance.
Yeah, so the two-dimensional surface is just length times breadth. And then you add in a vertical.
When you say two-dimensional surface, you're including the radius.
Wow. How can you have a radius to a two-dimensional surface? How does that work, Bob?
That's the only way you can describe it as a two-dimensional surface is if you accept
No, a
the
two-dimensional surface is a plane. It's like what we call a flat. It extends indefinitely. It has no edges, a plane, right?
Do you accept the radius of the Earth?
Do I accept that a two-dimensional surface does not have a radius? I will have that. Is this Bob? This sounds like you are preaching.
Do you accept the radius of the Earth?
Bob, no.
You're on mute again.
Don't bother saying it again. Two-dimensional surfaces don't have radiuses.
What he's saying, dude. He's saying either in spherical geometry, you're either using the 3 dimensions that the spherical geometry allows, you're using 3 dimensions, the 3 dimensions it's using, or if you're only talking about 2 of the dimensions and you're not accepting, if you're only talking about 2 dimensions, then you're basically fixing the radius is what it is, and not including it. So you're either going to use the radial distance and have 3 dimensions, or you're going to fix the radial distance and just use the 2.
Oh, so you're redefining spherical geometry into 3 dimensions now, are you? Nice. Well done,
It's using the definition.
When the definition is spherical geometry is the geometry of the 2-dimensional surface of a sphere.
It's not. It's 3 dimensions. It's the 2 angles.
Should we Google it and see what Wiki says?
Please Google it and see what it is. It's the 2 angles, one around the.
What's an angle, Kosho?
And one.
What's an angle?
and one from the
inclination of two straight lines, one straight line from another.
Yeah,
right?
go and look it up, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, and the third.
Your straight lines on the surface of a sphere.
The third coordinate is the radial distance. I don't know where you're gonna be able to find it where it says anything else.
What should we go look for? Spherical geometry.
Look up spherical coordinate.
Spherical geometry. Oh, but my thingy's not on. Right, anyone else got anything to support Kosho?
I mean, did you just look it up and found that you were wrong, or what?
I think Kosho's a stand-up kind of guy. I'm just general support, right? Just general support for him. Yeah, I think he's a good guy, and I back him up. I support him.
Guys. Would you like me to read it verbatim? I'll be happy to do that. In mathematics, a spherical coordinate system is a coordinate system for a three-dimensional space where the position of a point is specified by three numbers: the radial distance, which is the point from a fixed origin, the polar angle, measured from a fixed zenith, and the azimuthal angle from its orthogonal projection on a reference plane that passes through the origin and the orthogon at its zenith. In other words, when you include the radius as a given, it is a two-dimensional system, alt as.
Spherical geometry.
Yeah, right there. Right there.
You need the radius in first of all to establish the spherical size, right? The two-dimensional surface. That's why it's not a true geometry.
Stop talking.
Ooh.
It's a three-dimensional space. Unless you take the radius, then you can revert it to two dimensionals on the alt as. There you go.
Okay. So can you give us the definition of a triangle within spherical geometry, please? Or, in fact, give us the definition of a sphere in spherical geometry, please.
Why don't you go ahead and look those up? I'm not here to teach you third grade vocabulary.
How would you imagine you can have a sphere on the surface of a two-dimensional sphere? Would you imagine you can?
I think the surface itself can, but I don't think you can have another one on it. I think a triangle is defined by three lines that intersect at one point each only. That's simple enough.
A triangle has three straight sides because it's triangle. Like it needs to have three angles. And in order to have an angle, you need to have two straight lines. It's weird, that, isn't it?
Where's the word for four and square?
Or it could be on a plane.
A sphere on a sphere in coordinates would be an elevation, constant elevation.
It can't be a two-dimensional surface then, can it?
Yes, that would be a sphere outside a sphere. That is a level sphere.
It would be a three-dimensional object on top of a two-dimensional surface.
Did you not understand the definition I just read you?
I don't think
the one that you looked at and refused to say.
Dude, I just live in reality, right?
Did you read the definition that I just read you?
Did I read it?
A three-dimensional object or not?
Yes, a sphere is definitely a three-dimensional object.
Given the radius.
The surface of the sphere goes all the way around it. So I'd say that surface is three-dimensional. Really weird, that.
Is it two dimensions if you are given the radius?
It's a sphere is 3 dimensions even if I don't know the radius. Yeah. The surface of the sphere is still
2 dimensions relative to the radius. According to the definition I just read you that you looked at and would not repeat.
Will you explain how a 2-dimensional surface can have a curvature to it, please?
If the third dimension is the radius, yes.
That's 3 dimensions, though. Just keep it in the 2, please.
That's what he's saying.
You're just repeating the same nonsense. You're obviously
No,
not.
you're just imagining that you can make a 2-dimensional surface into a 3-dimensional surface. You can't. That's imaginometry, man.
It's the other way around. We're taking a three-dimensional surface and turning it into a two-dimensional one.
But that's a non-developable surface. Right? Surface of a sphere is a non-developable surface, which means it cannot be expressed on a two-dimensional plane without distortion.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A two-dimensional plane, right?
What else is a two-dimensional, Scott? Please.
The surface of a sphere is two-dimensional.
Go on. Explain. Explain two-dimensional length times breadth.
You want to explain two-dimensional length times breadth? Is that what you said?
I said length times breadth. That's two dimensions.
Length times breadth.
Yes, that's two dimensions. Length is one. Breadth is the other. 1, 2. 2 dimensions.
Length times breadth is 2 dimensions. Is that what you're trying to say?
Length times breadth is 2 dimensions. Yes, that is definitely what I'm saying.
Two dimensions, though. 2. You're saying length times breadth is 2 dimensions.
Yes, length times breadth is 2. Length is 1, breadth is 2.
Okay, then tell me how length and breadth is on 3 dimensions, please.
It's a plane. Length times breadth is 2 dimensions.
Please explain that. So you're saying that we can't live in 3 dimensions then?
No, we do live in 3 dimensions. That's what I'm saying.
You live in 2 dimensions. Is what you're saying.
No.
Well, I live in 3 dimensions, Bob.
Yes, I'm living 3 dimensions. Don't get yourself confused here, Scott. Don't get yourself confused.
I'm not asking you questions. I'm just asking questions.
You're meant to be answering how you can have a 2-dimensional surface with a curvature into the 3rd dimension.
I'm meant to be answering questions. You're meant to be, yeah.
You're frying. Scott.
I'm meant to be answering questions, Jim. I'm meant to be answering questions, Jim. Questions? Questions?
Did you say question?
Questions? It's hard to do one word. I can't do one word. It's tricky. I don't know how you do. If anything, I'm impressed with everything in your question. I have a hard time.
How many dimensions was it?
Is he broken? Of a broke Scott.
How many dimensions was it?
Yeah, Bob's.
He's doing fine. He's doing fine.
What do you mean he's broken?
Who's broken?
You're stalling for time. Please tell us this 2-dimensional surface of a sphere, Scott. How do you work it?
What do you mean?
I'm stalling for time.
Like in an aeroplane. Time.
Explain to me how stalling.
This is exactly how you do it. Are you gonna get soon?
What's time? What's stalling?
Bev, I hate to bring this to you, Bev, but if you haven't caught on by now, and it seems like you haven't. We're doing you. This is what you do all day, every day. This is an impersonation of you, and everybody can tell right away it's you, except for you.
No, I'm just waiting for you to explain how you can have a 2-dimensional surface of a sphere.
I'm waiting for you. Wait for you to tell me how we can live in 2 dimensions when we're 3-dimensional beings.
Keep driving away, Bev. You'll get it back on track.
Length times breadth. I know what a 2-dimensional surface is.
What's a dimension?
This is a definitional fallacy. Sometimes the definition doesn't quite approach.
No, Lemon. This is not definitional fallacy. This is pure mathematics.
I'm sorry, Bev, but you heard your man say it's a definitional issue, and he's right. We've been telling you this.
No, he's not. He doesn't know anything about it.
It's fairly simple. Bob was getting at it, and I don't know why we went past it. But when there's 3 dimensions in spherical geometry, the only time you can speak about it in 2 dimensions, it doesn't mean there's 2 dimensions. Even when you speak about the sphere of a surface, the surface of a sphere, and you're speaking about it in 2 dimensions, that's because the radial is implied, meaning it's still. So you have 3 dimensions regardless. You're just using 2 of those 3 dimensions. So it's not contradictory to say.
You don't understand what dimensions are.
The easiest
Obviously,
example of that is the big thing that they're making about.
Can you
NASA
tell me which
and
of the
its
2
flight
dimensions we
simulator
use
on
for
a
the
flat
surface of a sphere,
motionless
please?
Could you not interrupt?
The bottom line on that is that the rotation and the radius and the curvature of the Earth really doesn't come into play when you're flying in a local environment on a flight simulator. It just adds unnecessary complexity to it. It's still there. There's no practical way to, you don't need to make any practical adjustments to the radius or the rotation or the curved surface of the Earth when you're flying in a local area in a computer flight simulator. It just doesn't matter. It's implied there.
How about in reality? Does it matter in reality?
No, it doesn't matter in reality.
Which are the two dimensions that we're using, please?
Think about it, Bev.
Which are the two dimensions, please?
Bev, you're not going to think about it, so I'll tell you.
Go on.
It's fucking angles. They both have degrees on them, right?
Go on. What two dimensions are there, please?
You fucking interrupt people and you ask them dumb questions that you know the answer to, and fucking interrupt them. Jim had it exactly right, dude. You're just doing this to fucking.
Okay. X, Y, and Z.
Nervous, man.
Can we use Cartesian? Them 3 dimensions. I call it length, breadth, and thickness.
Dimensions?
Yeah, length, breadth, thickness. 1, 2, 3. Right? X, Y, Z. 1, 2, 3. 3 dimensions. Which 2 do you imagine you live on the surface of a sphere? Help him, Lemon.
You're fucking retarded, dude. We've already told you that the 3 dimensions that we're talking about are the 2 angles that Bob had said in radial distance.
That's that's the 3.
You have to convert those 3 to the X, Y, and Z.
And make them 2.
Well, you're dealing with a 2D face of, say, a sphere. It's flat and it doesn't extend into any other dimension. The 2D quote-unquote
you are having a 2D flat then.
It curves and wraps into another dimension.
A flat that
so we
curves.
have a bit of a question here. So it's
Bev,
a
can you
little.
let people talk without interrupting, please? I'm gonna seriously start muting you if you can't do this.
So these definitions are getting, kind of useless. So we need context to bring out what, if any, meaning these definitions have. They're trying to get to with this sort of equivocation, definitional fallacy.
Sure. Do you see this picture, Lemon? It's not hard. It's not hard to understand. I know you can understand this. You're smarter than the average flat earther. But yeah. Radius. It's not hard.
It's a humble flat.
I mean, it doesn't mean that one exists in reality and the other doesn't exist in reality. It's just different. It's just a different coordinate system, or different way of talking about the same coordinate system.
Let's see. We got x, y, z equals pi theta. Some Greek language.
The first one is the radial distance, and the other 2 angles.
Right. So that's 3 then. Which are the 2 dimensions then? Which 2 are you picking?
Yeah, I've already told you. When you use the 2 dimensions, you're making the radius or the radial distance implied. So you're using a fixed distance for that.
Oh. So you are using 3 dimensions then? You just like to think of it as 2 dimensions, or is it that it is 2 dimensions in reality, and you like to think of it as adding an extra one where you add curve where it isn't? It's just a straight line, but you can imply curve.
You fully agreed that the curve wasn't the added, so stop doing that.
Well, no, I would see. This is where I would say a horizontal is established as a plane, right? That's a 2-dimensional surface, length times breadth. There's no curvature. But your man earlier had that wrapping round a circle, so he's got implied thingy. Now, if he thinks that is 2-dimensional, then we do have a problem, because I think horizontals are straight lines, and your man, like earlier, thinks that a 2-dimensional surface is actually a curve.
You see, the world doesn't care what you think, Bev. We care about laughing at you for being dumb.
But I'm just going off the mathematical terms of a 2-dimensional surface, right?
Clearly, you're not understanding what you literally schooled me on when I said the sphere was 3D and you said it was 2-dimensional in spherical geometry. And, obviously,
I was just reading what it says in the
yes, you're very clever right there.
Imaginometry.
No, it's not imaginometry.
Yes, I didn't write that. I mean, like, I would never have said that the surface of a sphere is 2-dimensional. That'd be ridiculous.
Annoying voice, man.
fact that you insist that you don't understand this paradigm that you put yourself in, why?
But he can understand it if, given consistent enough definitions. But with these definitions changing all over the place, no real intuitive meaning is really possible.
The only interrupt and confuse matters: longitude and latitude plus an elevation.
Two-dimensional.
That's how we tell where we're at on the globe.
I know what two-dimensional is.
3 dimensions, man. Yeah, he just named 3 dimensions. Like, this is a true test to see how retarded everybody in the room
Longitude and latitude is a two-dimensional coordinate system. That's what he said.
Choose the true retards, okay? He just said longitude, latitude, and elevation.
Yeah, elevation. Yeah, height above. That's what surveyors do, right?
So don't fucking say he just said 2 dimensions when he said that.
We measure a vertical change from the horizontal plane. That's exactly what we do. The horizontal plane is a two-dimensional surface, and we measure a vertical elevation change from that.
Two-dimensional spherical surface.
We?
And elevation.
What do you mean we?
Spherical surface is elevation.
Me and my lads.
Yeah. Longitude, latitude, and elevation. You got it. Perfect, Bev. Nicely done. Took only, 4 hours?
In the UK, we don't have longitude and latitude. We just have a grid reference system.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a two-dimensional grid reference system.
It's going to be like that. You have, like a special retard system where it's all in, sheep lengths?
Well,
Carry on there, Dory.
Well, the tool of choice for the flat earthers would be a laser, something traveling straight and true over the land.
Hey, don't sell yourself short, Lemon. You guys are all tools.
It wouldn't be a curving lens, that's for sure.
Hey, but in all honesty, just in summation, there is not. I've posted the translation from spherical geometry to Cartesian 3D space. It's easily transformable. Like, you can use the same coordinate in both geometries, and the only thing you have to do is like I said, translate it. This is what PS does this, so it's not bizarre. And lines, or aka geodesics. Geodesics are analogous to straight lines in spherical geometry. They both share the same definition.
They are actually straight lines, though, aren't they?
They'll share the same definition as in. They
Yeah,
both
no,
have the
a
same,
geodesic is a series of actual straight lines.
I can get fucking through this shit, dude.
Yeah.
And then you can talk and no one will interrupt you. I've seen your fucking face. You're a grown man. Act like one. All right?
Wow.
So, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so a geodesic or straight line, they share the same definition as having the shortest distance between 2 points. And I'll finish there with fear of getting interrupted again.
So would that be a straight line, or a straight line, like your man had a horizontal curvy straight line earlier? Which sort of straight line would that geodesic be, Kosho?
Well, since I just said it, I know you were busy interrupting me, but I thought maybe the second time I got through it, they shared the same definition as they both are equal. They both are the shortest distance between 2 points. So a straight line on a flat surface and a geodesic on a sphere share that same definition.
So it's the same straight line then? Like the definition of a straight line is a straight line with no curvature in both definitions, right?
The geodesic is curved.
Oh.
They are straight lines. It is a straight line on a sphere.
It is a straight line. So it's a straight line or a curved straight line. Which sort of straight line are we?
Post the link again.
Go on. Is it like a straight or a curved straight? Which sort of straight?
Whatever words you want to use. It's a straight line.
Straight. Okay. Definitely straight then. No curvature.
They share that part of the definition.
When the definition of a straight line is a straight line with no curvature.
Don't talk, Bev.
That's sort of a
For
straight
the
line.
love of God, like if I'm trying to say something, man, and you're gonna guess what I'm gonna say, you're gonna fucking get it wrong every time.
Wow.
So why don't I just say it? They share that part of the
Unpredictable.
definition. The part of the definition that they don't share is the part that when you make two parallel lines saying that they will intersect, because geodesics you can't get parallel lines on a geodesic. I mean, on a six can intersect and will intersect.
So there's no.
There's a link,
yeah,
Bev.
I know. There's no parallel lines in spherical geometry. I know that. Okay, so when you said before the definition of a straight line is a straight line with no curvature, is that the definition that they share, or do they just redefine curvature in order to make the straight line with no curvature curve?
There is nowhere it said that a straight line with no curvature. That's literally redundant nonsensical. So, don't say that.
Well, so there's no definition that says a straight line has no curvature. Is that what you're saying? Or can you show us somewhere where it says
the distance between 2 points?
Yeah, is there an amount of curvature that there's a maximum and minimum for a straight line?
Between points. Shortest distance between 2 points.
Yeah, the shortest distance between its two extreme points.
Ooh. If there's 2 points, there's literally only going to be one way they could be to shortest distance, isn't there?
Yeah, that would be what I would call a straight line. Yes. But you see, in spherical, yeah, in the three-dimensional one though, you'd make a chord, wouldn't you? But
coordinate system is going to be a straight line.
You would make a chord between 2 points on a sphere. The shortest distance between 2 points on a sphere would make a chord, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I said the surface of a sphere.
Now, if the surface of a sphere you're doing the geometry of a two-dimensional surface, then how big is the chord on a two-dimensional surface of a sphere?
Why are you talking about the chord on a surface of a sphere? We're talking about
we're just talking about straight lines and how people imagine straight lines. That's what we're dealing with at the minute.
Is going through the sphere.
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
on the
Yes, that would be a straight line, wouldn't it?
Intersect the sphere.
No.
Not along the
Not on
the
Not in spherical geometry. How are you confused by 2D?
He's not confused.
I'm not
He's
confused by 2D at
trying
all.
to change the subject or trying to information overload with something else. That's all.
Bio, he does not know.
I definitely know what a two-dimensional surface is.
I disagree with you completely.
So you, in your reality, you have straight. Can you draw a straight line, say, to the moon? Would that be a straight line? So that there's no. So you understand there's no curvature in that line. Yeah. But if you place that straight line on the Earth, you're saying then it's still straight.
Spherical geometry is different.
It is.
Yes.
It's the context that you're using it on. If you have a straight line on a 2D plane on a piece of paper, that's a straight line. If you draw a straight line on the surface, point to point, that is a straight line as well because the context is on a spherical. It's a context, spherical geometry.
It does. It gets a bit bigger than that, though, doesn't it? Right, because it's not just the surface. I mean, these straight lines that go all the way around the surface of a two-dimensional surface of a sphere also explain what an orbit is, because they're straight lines as well, aren't they?
Yes, but they are elevated.
On a spherical platter, a straight line.
Still here, Bev?
I'm still here. Yeah. Is he broke? Was he broke off or?
I didn't hear what you said.
He asked you if on a sphere, do you consider the equator a straight line?
He asked me. No, there are no straight lines on the surface of a sphere.
This is exactly
It's quite
why
simple.
we know you don't know what you're talking about. That one line, we know absolutely you have no idea because we've given you the definitions, we've sourced it, we've told you, we've explained it, and you still make that claim.
What, that the equator isn't a straight line?
So
dude, in both models that you could claim that are around, the equator is a curved line in both of your models. Not even my model. Both of your models. It's not straight.
It is straight.
Dude.
Right.
All latitudinal lines are straight.
These dudes are crazy. Circles are straight lines. The circles will be squares soon. It'll be fine. It just redefine the shit.
Wait, hold on. They're not being so. You're saying a circle is straight.
Yeah, the latitudinal lines on the sphere are straight lines, and they are parallel.
They're crazy, Chemo. I mean, I've been dealing with this for a year, and they keep telling me I'm the fucking crazy one.
We've sourced it. It is crazy if you don't understand. If you don't understand these basic
No, but
concepts, then
hold on.
sound crazy. We've given you the links to the sources and the definitions.
If you say to a child, draw a straight line and draw a circle, are they going to draw? What are they going to draw?
Yeah, I don't care, Chemo. We've already given you the definition, Bev, for the spherical geometry and what straight lines are. We've already given you that.
I know what a straight line is, dude.
No, you don't. Obviously, you don't.
You can't redefine a straight line and hand it to me and say, now, this is a straight line. It doesn't work. You're fucking crazy if you think you can do that.
Basic concept. I have a question. For all the words in the English language, do they only have one definition each, or do they have multiple definitions?
Straight doesn't even have a fucking definition.
Nope.
It's an element. It's elemental.
Do words in the English
You
language
need
have
a straight
multiple
line to define everything else.
No. I know you're interrupting me, but I'm going to get the answer. In the English language, do words have multiple definitions given a context? Would you agree? Take your time. It's a tough question.
Well, what's your point?
Yes,
No,
to
I'm gonna make my
communicate.
point. I need
but
an answer.
straight is the definition.
I need an answer because I am going to make a point, but I need this acknowledgement first, whether he
It
agrees or
defines
disagrees.
itself, you mung. You're not trying to clarify anything.
I
There
am.
are words here. It is the
Don't
word.
save him. Let him answer the question.
It's been answered.
No, well, let him answer it. Go ahead, Bev.
Go ahead, what?
Answer the question.
Answer what question?
In the English language, do words have multiple definitions given a particular context?
Yeah, not straight though.
No. But you acknowledge that they do have definitions.
Yes, words. Oh, yes, words have definitions, and definitions mean nothing to you lot, right? The word straight
we're going to use.
in geometry has one definition.
The world of geometry disagrees with you.
In the context of a straight line, we need to know if we're on a 2D plane or if we're on a spherical object, and that's going to give us what the definition of a
2D plane. What? Not a 2D spherical surface.
Is a great circle.
What's a 2D surface then?
You can keep avoiding it, but I
No, you just said a 2D plane, didn't you?
We have to know what the context is.
A 2D, yeah.
Dev, you have no room to talk with definitions.
Mathematics, 2 dimensions.
You have no room to talk about using definitions. I gave you a definition of horizontal that engineers use, and you're still here saying the same bullshit.
What, that horizontal? Dude, you think you gave me a definition of horizontal?
Yep, the one that engineers use, the one that applies to the real
Brilliant. Perpendicular to plumb line, would that be? Yep.
What establishes the plumb?
Ooh, good question. What makes a plumb line vertical?
You hold it.
Yes, I can hold other things. They don't form verticals though.
If you put them on the end of a string, they would, wouldn't they?
Yes, that's the question. But why?
Because that's what a plumb bob is. It's just a weight on the end of a string.
I'll take tautology
Let's
for
go.
1,000, Alex.
I wonder whether the water is horizontal.
Water's always horizontal. But what's
I
horizontal?
wonder
Perpendicular.
if water is wet.
Water's always horizontal, did you just say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's the definition of horizontal?
Brilliant. What's the definition of horizontal?
Yep. Go ahead.
Perpendicular to plumb bob, which is vertical.
Okay. Is that a flat plane then?
Yeah, perpendicular is a straight line.
That's not the definition, though. Sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Wrong.
Perpendicular is. Yeah, you haven't got a new definition of perpendicular, dude.
No, but I have a proper definition of horizontal that engineers use that you just ignore.
No, I told you what it is. You agreed with me. You just don't seem to understand what perpendicular is.
You're using the definitions for, like, geometry on paper, not the real world. Sorry. Try again.
Sorry? Who's this man? This is really bad, right?
None of the ballers are gonna step in.
No, they don't. They're gonna let him. He's the obvious expert here, right? Come on, guys. Surely you've got somebody who knows what they're talking about to come do better than this.